Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zoom Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League. We are out on the Muckle Yin for one lap of points race with the ladies right now out on. I think we got Dave back. We'll jump on in with Dave. Dave was off for just a second with us. And hey, Dave, got to grab your microphone. I think we got you there.
Check there.
Yeah, we got you. So it's all
Great.
good. Had an internet there issue for just a second. It looked
Something.
like. I think we're good to go now, though. The women are out on course. This is going to be our EMEA earlier crew. We'll get in with the standings and everything in just a moment. They are out on the Muckle Yin, though, Dave. There was an initial kick right from the get-go, though. It is a points race, Dave. And so, there's going to be these flurries out here today. Intense battles to each one of the lines that there are points available at. And then I think things will calm down, but each one of them will whittle it just a little bit.
That's a really fair assessment. To tell you the truth, I'm right in line with what you're thinking, Nathan. This is going to be a lot of racing to pack into right around 23-ish K. So a little over 23 kilometers of racing today. It's not the amount of climbing, it's the way it hits, as the kids say. And Nathan, before we went on air, we were talking about some of the riders to watch today, and you astutely noted a new name to us here, or me, on Zwift, Leah Stern, taking the start. 13th at the Swiss National Road Championship. That's no joke. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thanks. So, yeah, she's got some solid in real life results. I mean, that says a lot right there, doesn't it? 13th at your National Road Championships, especially an established racing nation like Switzerland. Very impressive. She raced at Tour Feminine, was 43rd there in that stage race. So, yeah, she's got some real chops and a rider to watch out here. Although, when you talk about the heavy hitters, riders like Cecilia Hansen, Cassie Nelson, this is quite a crew that we've lined up here as Rammert now on the attack, and this one's going to turn some heads.
Yeah, Leah Sophie Rammett now coming out of Germany, going off the front, 38.6 as they hit this banner. Now, this is just going to be rewarding a power up. This is not a sprint. The next sprint is going to be on the reverse of the breakaway Bray. We do have a replay of the initial kick, though, to give you an idea of the kind of fury that is going to be happening here in just a moment. The initial kick, though, there was points right from the get-go in this race. It was Fure coming from the NL team, the Netherlands team, SPSD, with DBR right on the wheels coming out of the Danish bike riders. This synergy there with Olim here trying to also take this down, but was able to hold on here, Team NL, just barely with KST there, followed up by Hibo. And then Ellie Sykes from Aeonian was there around fourth. BL13 rolling over the top, but Dave, very difficult on that downhill sprint to come over the top with any speed, as they do hit upwards of almost 60 kilometers per hour. But you can see the separation right from the get-go in the punch. I think some ladies, men and ladies, anyone that jumps into this race, the amount of points that are available right from the get-go kind of comes as a little bit of a surprise sometimes.
Yeah, I would completely agree. You've got to be on point to get things started. Very consistent with how esports racing works, to tell you the truth. You can't really check out at any point, and you can't ride your way into the race. There's Aaron Ayala. So, Nathan, I know we had a little bit of a glitch technology-wise jumping in. I don't know if we've already looked at the season standings. Oh, well, there you go.
They're all over the place.
I was just thinking. Yeah. They're absolutely perfect, though, as we get a look at where we stand. It's really, at this point now, we're into the fifth of 6 races in this season. It's down to Swedish Swifters and Aeonian, and it's basically deadlocked. That's a virtual tie, to tell you the truth, because after today, one team or another, actually, I'll let that all play out throughout the course of the racing here. But as you can see, very close there for first and second, BL13. The Thundercats have the same situation going, but it's really a 3-team battle now for that third spot on the podium. For all intents and purposes. Again, the way the points work, one really bad day out here and everything changes. So Sports Solid, Team NL, and Synergy Shred, they're sitting in pretty much a run for third, I'd say. 65, 64, and 62 points there in that order for third, fourth, and fifth. Revo Arrows sitting in sixth, Coalition Rhapsody in seventh. They're both very close there as well. Hexagon, Electric Spirit Co. in eighth, Movistar, E-Team Women 47 points in ninth, and then DBR rounding out our top 10. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Aeonian and Swedish Swifters, and we can take a look really at the makeup of those two teams. They brought the A squads to Muckelyin. Muckelyin, the big one, and it's going to be a big one. I really think, Nathan, that today we're going to see fireworks without any question.
Yeah, 100%. Now they are going to start ramping up here in just a moment for this reverse sprint. It kind of comes at you as a surprise because we don't always sprint this way, but you can see on the left-hand side of your screen right now, there's the KOM banner. That's going to be the start of the fastest through segment. You can see at the back there, one of the riders from ESRT is going to be trying to SEG sprint this. There's BL13 also playing the exact same game, but at the front, it looks like we've got the feather power-ups already kicking off. I do see a rider coming from SC here making a move. It's Cecilia Hansen in here as well, but it's going to be Asa Fastbergland. But no, up and over the top, it's going to be BL13. Stern riding for BL13, coming over the top, but this is an early go. That's where I went as well in ZGP, and it's just flattens out a little bit too much, a little bit too early, and Aeonian's going to come over the top with Pitkin is here. Oh, Dave, watch out, everybody. If Pitkin's in the house, she's going to take down lots of these sprints. I did not realize that Itkin was here, Aeonian out of Norway, taking that down.
Yeah, an absolute danger woman out here today. Although one woman does not an entire team make, that is a big rider as far as she's going to gobble up a ton of points out here today. And look at this, Nate, the damage is going to be done. Polona Itkin here has tremendous experience at the highest level racing in esports. So watch out, obviously, for the Norwegian today. She's already made her mark on this race. But there's some other huge names, including, as we mentioned, Leah Stern for BL13. That's a game changer, picking up a talent like that. You can take a look at the split happening here. Nathan, you called it at the start of this race. It's going to be an absolute battle of attrition. And we've got now Skur Summit North coming up here, about 8.5K in. This group, I don't expect it gets much bigger. It's only going to get smaller from here on in my mind, Nathan. That second group is really going to try to prove me wrong, and they just might do that right now here. But again, once we hit the Skur, it's on.
There's just too much talent back there, Dave. Cassie Nelson's back there.
Yeah.
Onion Ayala is here as well. I mean, I think what happened there, and this is my experience at the top level on this course, is that the sprinters, they go so all in on that first reverse breakaway bray that the split that happens so naturally, but then it was such an intense sprint. The calm knowing what is coming with that Skur Summit just calms everything right on down, and it usually comes back together. So if you're anywhere near coming back into contention, you're usually able to get back, at least at this section, of course.
Yeah, you know what, Nathan, that's really experience talking there, and I completely agree. Getting out in front of my skis a little bit there, just with that excitement of I thought that I was more looking forward to the next sector than recognizing what was happening, the aftermath of that sprint that we had. And that's really the secret sauce of WTRL, the World Tactical Racing League, that all of the races throughout the season have their own flavor to them. And this is going to be one, not only a really tough course, but a lot going on points-wise, FTS, FAL, and all of those elements that happen in race here. So this is going to be the Revo team that we're with, Aaron Ayala, another one of the perennial danger women in our field. See Meredith Kessler, the triathlete. Looks like BL13 on the attack again here, Nathan, and it's going to be the Swiss rider.
A little bit of
I'm sorry. Back to the.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a quick look at this here and see how that played out, because I know a lot of people do watch the broadcast back for how they're going to take this on later in the day, especially for the Americas. You see how Stern went super early, and the timing there with the way that it levels out. Polona perfectly timed to the point, Dave, she's got 3 or 4 bike lengths, and that wasn't just her kick. It has so much to do with the timing. And there's a lot of roller coaster sections through this course. They call this is not the Rolling Highlands course, but they do take on a lot of those sections of the course, and it's definitely rolling a lot. So nice job by Polona with the timing there, as you could see. We'll try and get some point segments up for you in just a second here, but they are about to hit the Sker Summit. We are starting to see some of those steamrollers being popped as they do hit some of these dirt sections of the course. That does help a little bit out there, but they are starting that main kick into the Calum. Now, there are FTSs, so some of these riders may just go bottom to top to try and get the absolute FTS and not care as much about FAL, but on this course and this section, Dave, don't you think that perhaps it's kind of a both end if you're going for those?
I would agree. This is 1.5 kilometers at almost 4% on gravel. This is the longest climb on the route. So here we go. Nathan, I'm taking a look at Stern's racing resume here. She really just jumped back in. Now, a level 46 Zwifter, so she has tremendous experience as far as riding on Zwift. But as far as racing goes, she really just jumped back in again here on the 9th of this month, doing some of the awesome Zwift Insider tiny races there. But that just kicked it off. So to her credit, riding at the front end of one of the most experienced groups that we have out here are women in the EMEA. This is the deep end of the pool. So let's take a look now at how things are going to shake out on what's going to be a decisive sector. There's got to be a split made on this climb. And there's one of the riders that would be happy to make that split, Britt Poor, right now, the Synergy rider.
Yeah,
Synergy
made a move
so
early
strong
here. Made a move early, a little bit of a kick right from the get-go, but it looks like moving backwards now because of those early efforts. There is
Look out for Cecilia.
Halfway up the climb now. Is Hansen making a move on the front now, perhaps?
Looks like
Rammert now using that.
Looks like the Swedes are organizing on the front of the peloton to me now, Nathan. That Swedish Zwifting team.
Good call.
They're pushing the pace as a unit. The S unit right now as Engstrom up there as well. So Swedish Swifters at worst position. Yeah, look at this, Nathan. They're pressing hard enough that there's going to be riders struggling to hold on to the end of the rope back there. There's the legend herself, Anna Svardström. Talk about a rider with bona fides.
Yeah, Svartsom now trying to hold on, though. It looks like she was second wheel for just a moment. They're going to take this left-hand turn off in the distance. There's going to be a right-hand turn then. It's a couple of more S-turns here until they actually hit the final kick to the line they're going to be looking for. Watch out for the orange numbers to be popping, though, toward the top. Have they saved enough, though, for an all-out sprint to the line? They're going to really start galloping in a second here. But NL, again, on the front with Rammert, continues, but it's going to be McCarthy now, it looks like. Now over the top again, SZ, you were right, Dave. Asa Fast Berglund. Here she comes, and now she's going for it again here. 7 watts per kilogram now trying to break away.
And this could be a 20-rider group when the dust settles here. Look at the Swedes now. Talk about pure ambition on the front. And that's going to be the steamroller. I missed the steamroller power-up. And there it is, used in full effect. So Asa Fastberglund is rolling. It's a Swedish avalanche right now on the front as Engstrom. Looks like it's going to be the New Zealander McCarthy getting up there. But also Hansen now. That Ukrainian flag is going to be alternating with Sweden. But so here we go, Nathan. The Swedes having a massive impact on the race right now. And there's one of the women who's absolutely a key player.
Yeah, taking down the top sprint points there for first across the line. I would not be surprised if she also got fastest through segment. There's a little bit of a split now here with these anvils, Dave. This gets super dangerous now because they might start just rolling away with that extra weight here downhill. Cassie Nelson on the fight here, not a rider I would expect to be off the back, but she let a little bit of something go here, Dave, and that may end up coming back to bite her as she looks to get back on terms.
Anvil 2.0, absolutely a game changer out here. Let's see. I mean, Cassie Nelson is a great example of a mega talent who is definitely right now going to be fighting to keep her head above water. She's got a little bit of help, which is going to be key in that 3-rider group. This is on like Donkey Kong out here right now. We're not even halfway into this race. This is what this course has always been about as we take a look now. Nathan, I love that you're hanging with Cassie Nelson because this is a great look at how hard it is to close down these gaps. She really is lucky to have Alberg with her, the Swedish rider, although the Swedish rider really would be better off to sit on, wouldn't she here, Nathan? She's got her teammates up the road, so she's in the catbird seat right now. The BL13 rider that we're looking at definitely wants to contribute. This becomes a 5-rider group right in front of our eyes. You can see the gap back to the next group. It looks just a little bit larger. That's a great photo, isn't it?
Yeah, Catriona Morrison here, coming out of Scotland, actually. That's where we are virtually. Great to see. And she was doing the work on the front just a moment ago, but it slowed right on down. It looks like it was 2 seconds just a second ago, but it is going to come back together.
Gonna
This
come
was
back.
the rider
Yeah.
that definitely put in a good amount of work, though, to bring this back. I Raced Like a Girl is also here. And who's racing? It's going to be
That's
Kessler is
one.
here.
Yeah, that Meredith Kessler
Yeah.
there.
So we've got some triathlete representation. Good to see Meredith and making this front group. Currently amongst what looks to be about a 10, maybe 12 rider group, and 16 seconds, 14 seconds back now at this point is going to be the chase. But Dave, talk about the cream of the crop here. We've got people who have been on the world championship podium. I mean, and plenty that have represent their country here. So in Scotland now, Dave, down to what looks to be about a 10 or so rider group. This is going to be about FALs. You got plenty of FTS behind still for some kicks, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of that FTS go to them, but I would try and stay away at this point if you've got any kind of representation. The Swedes here with 4, even Aeonian with 3, they've got all the motivation to make this stick.
Yeah, okay. So roll call. As you take a look at this group, Nathan, I can't imagine that they would be joined by a group from behind. I realized that I said that about 10 kilometers ago, but now I think we have really separated the wheat from the chaff. I mean, you're right. This is a world-class caliber group that we've got right now. Every one of these riders has got their bona fides that we can look at. Some of the names are a little bit fresher. Some, like Kessler, absolute legend. I mean, she's a level 60 Zwifter, and Nathan, I would say in her time in the sport, you're seeing one of these riders that brings as much Zwiftcraft as you possibly could to the field. So it looks like Rammert, the German, is going to attack again. She's been aggressive throughout the race. Kessler leading up the chase. The Swedes got a numerical advantage in this group. It doesn't tell the entire story. We'd have to, and we will, with Nathan's awesome producing. We'll see what's happening in that next group behind, because if Aeonian has their riders there, it could be worse, although they're going to need their 3 riders in this group. Again, just really quickly to review, I know we've had a lot of new viewers joining on Zwift Community Live. This is a team sport in the truest sense that we stack the points from all of the riders on each team at the end of the race, and then that's how we sort out our finishing points. This has been one of the riders of note today. It's not the first time that you've brought up her infographic, Nathan, because it's actually interesting, 2 Leahs today. Leah Sophie Rammert here is the German rider attacking as she brings them through 13 and a half kilometers of really, they're down to about 10K of racing out here in Scotland now, but the peloton's going to, well, peloton, that's a micro peloton, isn't it? The front group, I guess, as we started 56 riders here with the A women. And Nathan, this group, I'm going to call it 14 in my mind. We'll see exactly what has survived, but really I think what's the most important is 4 of them are Swedish Swifters in the white and blue, 3 of them in the purple and green and magenta. That would be Aeonian, and that's really the battle for supremacy here in this division, as those are the 2 teams that are only separated by 1 point on top of the table now. So both of them are still in the fight, but you have to say, to be fair, if advantage, and they earned it. They forced this move. Swedish Swifters got to be sitting pretty good right now they're feeling pretty good about where they're sitting, I should say.
Styles now to the front from Revo as they are going to start this next climb on the left-hand side. We did just go through. Did we just go through? Where does this actually start here? I believe we just went through the KOM banner. Yes, we did. So it is going for FTS at this point. Ace Fast Berglund again, though. All she cares about are these FALs, as all the feathers are being popped here, as you can see.
Everybody with the feather up. Yeah.
Oh, I think this one might be Hansen's. That's my prediction here. She's got it in her when it comes down to the later parts of this race, when it gets into really who's got the pure endurance of a cyclist. Watch out for Cecilia Hansen. She can kick with lots of fatigue in the leg here, and it looks like she is going to take it down. McCarthy, though, in for second, Dave, and this is a rider I want to focus in on a little bit here because I am actually not familiar with McCarthy, and she is showing up today. Kate McCarthy on taking tons of points for her team.
Yeah, this is a breakthrough ride. No question. I mean, talk about having a major impact here. You're absolutely right with McCarthy. So let's pay more attention. Or, well, I'm going to be paying more attention to the New Zealander here, who this is how you make your mark. No question. Is show up on a day like today, a critical day of racing, and not only hold your own. I mean, hey, in esports, you got to give it like you get it out here, and she's doing that. So great job today, Kate.
Yeah, I'm riding for that Roca Corba team. So I mean, we see the little Zwift in the upper right hand corner there too, which is interesting. I'm wondering if there was some sort of a something I'm missing here. Chat, help me out if there is something that I'm missing. If there was a Zwift Academy finals going on or some way, top 10, or if there was maybe perhaps just hanging out with the Roca Corba team, as is some support there across from them with Ashley Moomin Pastio. But good to see the way that she is showing up for that Roca Corba team. Now, I was showing Ramert a whole bunch here, Dave, because I'm thinking about, like, from a broadcast perspective, giving her the red jersey here. I mean, she has been on the attack over and over, and most aggressive rider so far. Maybe not going to get the best points for the team, but she's making the race hard. That's for sure for everybody else, and sometimes that's the way to play it.
Yeah, absolutely, Nathan. I mean, at some point, you're going to get out here and just do the best that you can with what you've got. You can't really always rely on your team to make the race for you. And she's doing a tremendous job for SPSD and herself of riding off of the front. This is a moment, though, where that group's got to be licking their lips right behind her as they realize the tremendous advantage they have on a significant downhill sector like we have here on Muckle Yin. Scotty the Squirrel looking over her shoulder, cheering her on, though, as she's well inside of the finale of this race here. But as I'm anticipating,
Scotty,
Nathan,
Dave, Scotty replicated
perched
himself.
up on top of.
But, like, there's two of them. I didn't know Scotty had, like, a family. Like, you see that?
Scotty's pal,
there's
Steve.
Scotty, and then, there's like a whole, it's interesting.
Yeah, crew.
And, okay, thank you so much. I knew this was going to come through. I knew I was missing something there. Because
Kate's story.
Yeah, 2020 Academy finalist. Thank you so much, Felix Play. And I knew there was some familiarity there. It's just been a little while. So Felix Play over on YouTube helping us out there. And not surprised one bit from what we're seeing from her now. And perhaps giving another go at something like that. But or if we'll have to wait and see where things have gone over the last 3 years since that Zwift Academy finalist. But she's in here with the finalists when it comes to the ZRL right now, and holding her own down for Roca Corba. Now this is out to 4 seconds, Dave. At 4.2 watts per kilogram, things are going to start getting dangerous if that pack does not start closing. Now the only thing is, though, they are going to be hitting that Skur Summit reverse, and that is going to really ramp things up where she'll hold on maybe with the pack, but they're going to close things down so quickly when it really goes bonkers.
And again, I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade here, Nathan, but what perspective are we talking about here? Because if this is truly a team race and it's about team points, she doesn't really matter to the Swedish Swifting team. They can let her go. They're going to catch her, in my mind, but one rider won't score enough points to impact the end game at all. That's one of the beautiful things about this league. So, for her, that's to her advantage here, because maybe they don't take her as seriously as they would if she was one of the Aeonian riders off of the front. So maybe Rammer gets a chance.
Let's play that out. Like, if SZ were to start chasing right now, which Asa Fast-Berglund's going to the front, not real hard, but just fast enough, it looks like. But if they did, that sets up Aeonian. That sets up everybody else that's in here, right? To
sure.
Counter
So it's
them and
counterproductive
take points
for your team.
Exactly.
So if you're Swedish Swifters and you chase her back, it's actually working against your chances of winning the race here today. It's sort of like when you see a player in a sporting event where they have an opportunity to score, but they actually don't, because it's beneficial to hold the ball and run the clock down. It's somewhat similar here. It's not to their advantage to chase her back. This is a really great chance.
This is the second group out on course. This is a serious chase. Look at Jeld from KST is pushing 5 watts per kilogram before she hits the Skur. What an effort here coming from this rider right now. I love what I'm seeing. I mean, this isn't the front of the race, but it's only 10.
Right.
It's like 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. I mean, about to hit the skirt, so it's going to probably not, maybe not really be anything to be too concerned about. But this is an amazing effort from this rider to try and break everybody behind.
They're going to hit it now. Basically, in the net, it's like a ticking time bomb up to that front group. She's going to get very close and noteworthy. I'm glad you caught this ride from Jeld here. That's the front group, and there they go. So this begins what's going to be a really significant 1 kilometer sector here. I don't know that this front group stays together, and to be honest, it's going to be interesting to see if our solo leader is able to hold on through all of this. Certainly, Kate McCarthy is going to become a big part of the conversation. Look at the watts that she's putting up on the board as Kate McCarthy turns herself into a wattage cottage right now here. All right, race is on here on the Muckle Yin. That's McCarthy in the pink the magenta jersey of Roca Corba. There's the Coos there watching along. Here's your leader, Rammert. The advantage has gone out to 14 seconds, Nathan, 100%. If I'm the Swedish Zwifting director or the Aeonian director, I'm going to tell my team it's not our job to chase her back. Don't sweat it. That is a false flag. That's not our problem out here. So I think Rammert's going to make the best out of a really interesting race situation out here. Going back now, another rider who really similar to Rammert now, with no teammates in that front group, Nathan, you don't have to chase McCarthy. McCarthy, though, is going to come up very, very rapidly on Rammert here, though. This might be a very interesting, we might get 2 races in one. One race for the outright win today, which is always going to be significant in any bike race that you have. Rammert and McCarthy, Nathan, these two could square off out here while we watch Aeonian and Swedish Swifters back in the air quotes peloton back behind them, fighting for the overall battle here as we're into the 5th of 6 races of the season. So it's like a 3-ring circus out here right now, Nathan. But they are going to make the catch, it looks like, of McCarthy.
Now, Dave, real quickly, things split a whole lot in that group as they were looking to come across with McCarthy and Rammert here. London off the back now. Morrison as well. Styles is here from Revo now following us. But Cassie Nelson off the back was in that lead group. Kessler there as well. This was the group that was on the chase. It actually opened up to 20 seconds coming up over the top here. That was with Jell and the rest there. Kessler now has fallen off. Maybe going to be caught by this group for a top 20 still. But now the race is going away over the top of the skirt. And Dave, there's an anvil to be working with here over the top of this climb, as well as perhaps some steamrollers are going to be popped. But now it is all coming together with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 riders. 7 riders, it looks like, that are going to make maybe 8. It is. Now with Morrison just off the back with London here working together now to maybe make it a 10-rider group coming into the final. But that group, if they don't get on this now, it will roll away because the attack's going to come left, right, and center, I would think, because it is all about getting to the Clyde kicker in that final sprint to the line for a whole lot of points, Dave. I got away right here, actually, in my race in the Zwift Grand Prix and went all in threshold, and you can do it if you can get away here and grab a whole lot of points for the team. It's a big risk. I only had 1 rider chasing me, Dave. With this many, though, I'm not sure. I think people are going to be a little bit more timid about making any serious moves.
Well, when you see Anvil, Steamroller, and Feather, the powers that be, choosing those as the power-ups, you know you're in for quite a day, and that's exactly what we've had here as we focus in now on our front group. It has been absolutely bananas out here. But again, these are the women that have made the race. You called it, Nathan, at the very start of this race, how selective today was going to be. Let's take some inventory now here as that once dominant position that Swedish Swifters had. Well, it's changed, but it's 2 Aeonians in this group, if I'm seeing this correctly right now, with 3 Swedish Swifters, I believe is the case. So even though they lost 1 rider out of the front group, they still have a numerical, or is that? No, it is going to be 2 Aeonians in this front group, isn't it? So
2 Aeonians, all right, 3 Swedish Swifters, 1 Kate McCarthy, a team of our own. We've got an Ellen here as well.
Same for Rammert.
Yeah, and is that a hexagon rider then that's in the midst of all of this? That's going to be Motas. Yeah.
Yes. Right. So 3 riders, the only representative of their team, 3 Swedish Swifters, and 2 Aeonians. So with the way that the points are distributed, this is starting to look, it's going to come down to our final race.
Look at her. Look at Hansen, and it's all about the points here. She's off the back for FTS. She's not worried about getting dropped. She wants the FTS and maybe the FAL. Look at the chase behind Morrison, killing it. 9 seconds back, 4 watts per kilogram. You can see him just in the distance there, Dave, trying to chase so hard. I don't think they're bringing it back, but you can just feel their effort because they're in sight here still at this point. Watch Hansen now. I have a feeling where she's going all in for these FTS points as they're about to start the real kick to the line from the back here, Dave. She'll have just a little bit more time on them, and nobody's going. They must be so tired. Hansen now kicking 8.5.
It's going to be an explosion. Yeah, so this is the Clyde kicker, and that's it. Swedish Swifters are going to line it. That's going to be Asa Fast Berglund up and over the top. It's Cecilia Hansen. I don't think Cecilia is going to get there. And how about Kate McCarthy? The New Zealander is going to come through for third. So we'll mark those points down. The group looks like it's going to hold. Well, one rider is going to be really fighting in the back of this group here as they continue to press the issue on the front.
Ooh,
Swedes are whipping the Rammer, paying a price. Yep.
Oh, she used her arrow right now at this point to get back on terms, Dave. And it's always great to get back on terms, but they're all going to have an arrow going to the line. So that's really going to put her at a disadvantage. But what a ride from Rambert here.
Yeah, good for her just getting back into the group at that moment. I can only imagine the grit that took. This is it. Here we go. The fast run into the finish line now. Everything, high stakes poker going to be played. Amazing to see Rammer getting dropped, then goes right back to the front now. I get it, just trying to protect yourself, but she's obviously aware of the amount of horsepower that is in this group. There's going to be, it is going to be bedlam. No doubt about it here. What a finish for Aeonian. Boy, they really need to get some good placings out of this group. It's not enough just to be in this group for them. They need to put a couple riders in the top 4, Nathan, to make this successful and really have a chance to come up against what Swedish Swifters has. A massive numerical advantage here with 3 riders in this, what is it, a 9-rider
so 77
group?
to 76 is the league total at this point coming in. So that's why this is so important. 77 to 76.
Odds are good. Odds are very good. We have a tie going into the final race.
Motaz on the move here. This is with 1K to go. 1K to go here, Dave. And she's got 9 watts per kilogram. She doesn't want a sprint situation. Can she break this? Dave, this is a downhill sprint, and sometimes it stays away with just a few meters.
Okay, so again, even if she goes away solo to win, that's not Swedish Swifters' problem. They don't need to take this bait. Good for Motas, and it looks like she has a very good shot of going on and winning, but the Swedish Swifters don't need to win this race outright to win the day and put themselves in a tie with Aeonian, and that looks like
Harper. Oh, Hansen actually taking it down. Hansen
Aeonian
did
a really good job.
They completely mobbed the front there. Totally mobbed the front.
So when we look at the points, the way they score, they're going to, it's not enough is the problem. That's a great run from Aeonian and a really strong finish, but Swedish Swifters, they won that race in my mind. We'll look at the results, but they won that race today in my mind by what they did throughout the duration of it, not in the finale in the last 300 meters. It was the way that they got 3 riders in a 9-rider group.
Yeah, 100%. And you see the replay here. Motaz, nice little move to stay off the front. Really, really amazing kick to take to the line. Great job for Hexagon to take big points
that's a big
on
win.
the day. Yeah, and there's a lot of points at the finish line. These points definitely matter. Now looking here in these final couple of seconds, it was Hansen just being able to time things perfectly for a second place. Aeonian for third, it looks like. And then McCarthy, they're coming in for 4th. As SC taking the minor placings when it comes to the finish line, but they've got plenty of riders that made that front group. And Dave, you were right. I think it had a lot to do with just making it that front group, didn't it, Dave?
Yeah, and that's, you have to recognize the field of play and what we're talking about here. It's not about the outright individual win, although there's always going to be a lot of pride that goes along with that, and racers race for that, no doubt. But it's a points-based team competition. There's the outright champion today, though. Gold standard as Laurence Motas, the French rider, taking the win for Hexagon. Her heart rate down to 0. That's concerning. Like to see. like to see something on the board there.
Let's see if we can bring.
She must have taken her heart rate monitor off. To tell
I
you the
think her
truth,
heart
after
monitor might have been struggling a little bit there today. I have a feeling something was going on there, but sometimes they do fail once in a while. So, but this is the results here for us here coming on through for the women. Lawrence Motas taking it down for the first across the line at the finish line, everybody. We'll be getting some updates on the points. Our points haven't been coming through for the segments at all, actually, today. So we'll try and get you some league updates in just a moment. The men are just kicking off, though, and we'll jump over to them in just a moment. But let's go through the results here for first across line on the day for the finish line, Dave.
You got it. Lawrence Montas, our outright winner, and that was impressive as Cecilia Hansen comes through for Aeonian with her teammate Leonie Harper there. It's Kate McCarthy for Roca Corba in fourth today as she makes a big impact showing up here in the ZRL. The Swedes then roll through with Camelia Alberg, Cornelia Engstrom, Asa Fast Berglund. A nice job by Leah Sophie Rammert today. I think Nathan was right to give her our most aggressive riders jersey. She earned that. Sarah London for ninth, and then Sharon Stiles rounds out our top 10 out here for our women's EMEA Central 1As. It's going to be Catriona Morrison in 11th. We highlighted Leah Stern, and she highlighted herself. Great job today by Ms. Stern. In 12th, it's Mette Bjeld for 13th. Palona Itkin, good to see the Norwegian out racing with us for Aeonian, and that's also noteworthy that she'll get some solid points there in 14th. Heather Taminen in 15th, Megan Anderson 16th, Fiona Sharp finishing 17th, Chantel Fouve in 18th, Anna Spartstrom 19th, and then Anna Embring there. That might be enough for our Swedish friends there. Nathan putting a few more riders up into the top 20 to round things out for our top 20. It's going to be Ellie Sykes of Aeonian in 21st, Cassie Nelson for 22nd today, Sabrina Kurtil in 23rd, Amber Lecomte in 24th, Sarah Ulm in 25th. It's Linda Farsadi in 26th, Carly Johan in 27th, Humanist Fraktur in 28th, Meredith Kessler 29th, and then Lenny Christensen in 30th. So a lot of familiar names jumping in with our A women out here today in our Central 1 group. That's a look at our top 30 through the racing, where the Lionesses' share of the points have been distributed. It looks like Nathan has already found our way over to join the guys out racing, as this will be our second event here with a 45 past the hour start time. This is going to be our Open EMEAW Eastern 1 out here on the Muckle Yin today. Almost 24K of racing, and yeah, a lot of European flags, Nathan. It is that time of day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely that time of day. As I'm just gonna make sure I've got the right header here. EMEAW Eastern 1. This is the right header. There's a lot, so many that we have to sort them letters pretty well. But this is what we're looking at here right now. As we've got 23.6. We were unable to catch the first sprint. We apologize. We'll see if we can bring in some of the segment points to get an idea of how it played out, because it definitely makes a huge difference, that first sprint, in how things go for the team on the day. Let's see if we can get some segment points coming through. But their next sprint is going to be, again, that breakaway. Braid is going to get really familiar for everybody out here today about how it plays out over and over again. Now, Alpha, I believe, have been the dominant team. Mainly coming out of Belgium, I believe, here. We'll get the league points up in just a second. Breakaway Bray, though, Dave, that's going to be their next take on. But the reverse, and it is that one that I had talked about a little bit earlier, that is, oh, excuse me, it's actually, if I've got this correct, let me just make sure I've got this right as our Zwift IDs. But is AHDR in here? Are they actually one of the teams that's heading this up? Because they, if this is correct, they are at the top of the team standings here now, though. But
that doesn't track, though.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Absolutely, no, it does track. Absolutely, very, very interesting.
Veritas now
for the time of day, but Yeah, Aaron Steele, Andrew
real
Downey,
interesting. But
Jason
there you go.
English,
Real
Matt
quick,
Burgess,
we're about to hit a sprint here, but just real quick, just take a look at that top three: AHDR, Alpha, Love Tiles. We got a battle there a little ways below with Veritas and ZU 4R. Zed Sun Settled is there as well. Grand Fondo, Team Enox, Team NL, and Foodray. That's the situation as it stands. Watch that battle at the top three, and then I think a battle for fourth and fifth as well going to be playing out between Veritas and ZU or our ace now. But they're about to hit that breakaway Bray reverse now, Dave. It's the left hand turn into a right. It settles down into a flat with that kind of is a little long, actually. Tends to maybe catch people by surprise. It'll be interesting to see how this gets played because from the back here, Dave, you can see HDR sagging this. Look at the rider moving backwards actually right now on purpose. Watch the kick come from him for FTS.
Yeah, watch that feather. Well, there's a lot of feathers now moving through the group. Started at the back. He's about halfway through. Now, talking about that AHDR rider. So here we go. Again, a lot of points distributed throughout the race. This is going to be a big one. Now, look at these guys throwing down as they go 4 wide out here. Pinheiro is going to be swamped as they come over the top, saving that power up. Van Roysbroek there. The Alpha rider times that really, really well there. Van Roysbroek showing some serious experiences. Let's go back and watch that final 150 meters or so as this is when Van Roysbroek really launches.
Yeah, look at that. Van Roysbroek with the feather power up, Dave. Gets a full bike length and just holds it. Nice kick to the line. The timing's perfect. It's going to be Van Lythen actually over the top there. GFTB. Wow, Dave. That was... I thought for sure Alpha was going to take, not Alpha, but HDR was going to come through there. But it looked like the GFTBE was able to take a lot of points there as well. Lots of teams all over this. Now, one thing I do want to highlight here is, HDR, and then there's another team, GFTBE. That team is in an interesting jersey. I'm going to see if we can find it out here because they look very similar. Very, very similar. Those two kits actually. We don't
HDR attacking
off the front
or moving to the front, right now. Just moving to the front, getting some positioning. They're going to be active today, no doubt about it. I love that Foodray jersey as well. I like the shade of blue that they've got. That stands out. You can see it right there. Thank you, Nathan. So, GranFondoTeam.be as well. That's the coaster that we're the coaster, I should say.
Yeah, this is now the coaster is this guy's been unless this is a different DeCoaster. This is a rider who's been around for quite a long time. Perhaps tries the coaster. Unless it may be a familiar name also.
Relatively common
out of Belgium. Yeah, but definitely
Dries de Coaster.
Definitely familiar with the name and this GFTB
level 62. That speaks to, you having familiarity. He's been around Zwift for a long time. It's an understatement for any 62 level Zwifter.
Things have
taking a
look
look
right
at things, settling down just a little bit.
What's going on there in the front there, Dave? Who's this guy? Is that going to be Enox? This is a team that's newer to me.
Kind of looks like the old World Elite Zwifter jersey. Yeah, with some similarities
There's
to it.
2 people riding a bike. Alejandro Castrillon. Good to see Alejandro here. And I don't think they're on a tandem, though. They're probably not on a tandem.
Upbeat.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got a lot to be stoked about. Spain looks like an awesome place to live. So is our Peloton right now rolling along. Interesting collection of power-ups today. Anvil, Steamroller, and Feather. That I wasn't joking when I was saying when you see that mix, you've got an interesting course.
Yeah, now the Eagles here, Dave, making their way to the front. Be on the watch out for BZR Eagles. BZR always wants to be on the watch out to make some moves. Maybe not having the best league overall, but definitely Dangerman out here today as they're about to take the skirt. There is the KOM. Look at the sag. Who is that at the back? Sag, like That was like a lot of the same jerseys. Alpha, Alpha, Alpha. That's what it is. Look at Alpha on the move with that from the back right to the front. That's full on for FTS. That man does not care about the FIL necessarily. If he can take it, he'll go for it. But that was a steamroller from the very, very back of the pack right to the front. And that's going to be the Redren. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Help me with the Belgian pronunciation here, Dave, because that definitely was a move for FTS. Now, over the top, though, it's going to be Pullman, also from the BCR Eagles.
Yeah, kind of Tai Chiing that, letting someone else light the fuse. And now we're seeing the real surge. That steamroller turns, no matter what surface you're on, into glass smooth tarmac. It makes a huge difference out here. Not often that we get to see. That's going to be Joran Pullman that we're looking at. A lot of Belgians affecting the race out here today as we watch really a critical sector, and not everybody's going to come out of this one unscathed. No doubt about it. Good to see our Portuguese friends really rallying right now. Look at the number of Portuguese riders right, Nathan, up near the front. That's going to be not only the Veritas team. There's a couple squads out of Portugal. This is going to be Zed Sun and John getting ready for next week's team time trial as well. There is the Zed Sun rider. Look at riders getting tailed off the back of this group. Very rare at this level that you see this kind of damage being done.
Now up over the top.
John,
who's on the attack here? This is going to be, is that a GFTBE rider? It is. It's going to be the Latham now on the attack. It's been one after. This is really interesting the way this is played, Dave. It's like people roll the dice, play an ace, play an ace, and then it just continually gets shut down.
Grand Fondo team Belgium. This is the worst Grand Fondo ever if they're attacking like this. My goodness. As we take a look at Philippe van Latham here, making lightning bolt watts on the front. So when we looked at it, Nathan, there were really three different teams that are still in, I would say, contention for the overall season battle. There's another gap down to the next grouping of squads. But this is going to be a rider to remember, as Philippe is really putting him in the hurt box on this severe climb out here that brings him up to 10K, just around 24K of racing on, obviously a world championship quality course. That's already been proven that we're racing on here today. As we take a look now at Kremers, the Netherlander here attacking out of that group. Yeah, it's just old school fury here in Scotland, Nathan.
Yeah, Kremers now on the brakes a little bit, grabs those points, most likely going to sit up and try and find some
flurry of anvils.
Energy, tons of anvils coming through. Now, David, the reason he sat up and didn't go on the attack, that was all about the points at this point. And really, it's about securing a spot in this front group because it can quickly go away from you after going for those kind of points. You have to go so deep, Dave. And a lot of these riders, some of them were like, okay, I'll be satisfied with the top 10 over the top. You know, I'm not going to necessarily go full gas all in to take all the points, Dave. I'm going to try and accumulate. So some of these riders are accumulating as much as they can throughout, while others, they go all in at a section, and it's a risk that they take with a massive amount of energy that might find them off the back. Sometimes worth it. It looks like, though, they're going to make this front group into about 15, I would say.
Very interesting, Nathan. We've talked about, how the anvils deployed, and there everybody went defensive. They used it early, right after they came over the top of the climb, because they were worried about getting dropped. So everybody just went for the anvil immediately once they started descending, just going the safe route rather than using it to attack later in the event. As we watch a really small group, we started with 62. And this is right around 20 riders that we've got, not even in this front group now, although it looks like if they sit up just a little bit, they'll be rejoined by this second group. I think that that's a pretty decent chance if these guys can just work together. There's the coaster, Dries the coaster, Nathan. I think that they do bring this back together, to tell you the truth. They're going to need to do the work, but they're going to benefit from the fact that I don't think it's super aggressive up in that front group right now. Let's see if they can catch a break back here in Chase 1.
Really, Miguel Lablante is now on the front, pulling this back together here, doing the work for this main group. He's motivated to get back involved as there is a little bit of time on this downhill. Now, Dave, they aren't holding up in the front, though. They see that this work is being done here, and now somebody has put on the whistle. The whip is on at the front here. The horses are being made to go to make that train leave here at this point, Dave. I don't know if this is coming back because of the kind of effort. Now, it is going to be Jay English. Now, if they don't put this kind of effort in, it won't come back. Now it's going to. Just barely, though, as English now makes it happen.
Isn't that great? And that's really, Nathan, one of the things I absolutely love about racing here on Zwift is you just don't know. It's going to come down to the efforts that the athletes are making and the dynamics at play, because that really could have gone either way, but we're going to regroup. And now all of a sudden we've got a whole new race situation as you take a look at the front group now that really is the peloton of this race. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that we see this many riders together after the aggressive racing that we've seen out here so far today. So, of course, a couple more riders attack.
Jason English here, loving this guy with the mountain bike and looking to make some attacks. It looked like there for a moment as he brought things back together with the rest of the group. But English now going backwards as there's attacks off the front. Just about to catch his breath, it looks like. And then Zedson with Taff goes on the move. But it's going to be brought back together here as the breakaway brave forward is going to be the next place that they're going after. Now, interesting, Dave, that was a lot of feather power-ups. What is going on? Like,
just to hang in. Right. I mean,
whoever saved their feather is going to get FAL or FDS. That's just reality here at this point, I would think.
Well, yeah, it completely makes sense. This group at this point now, after the massive hits that they've seen or the massive blows that riders have been throwing and the number of guys that have been able to take it on the chin and hang in there, it's starting to become a little more ominous as far as attacking out of this group goes, because you realize it's hard to do damage to these guys. The name of the game, as we were talking about in the previous women's race, is having numbers at this point, just trying to stack them in the top 10. If you can get 3 riders in the top 10, you're in pretty darn good shape to win the day. And as we said, we've got 3 teams that are really, really hungry to get a lot of points here, not just at the finish, but at the multiple opportunities. I apologize that we're not able to show you the live scoring there as we sometimes do today. We don't have that ability, but they are scoring points along the way out here, Nathan. But the best way to tell really how a team is doing at this point is simply numbers. How many riders do they have up in this front group? Any team, there's no team that has 5. I don't even know if we have a team that has 4. We don't. Who has 3 becomes
just
the
quick
question.
There's a KOM. They just went over that KOM back by those Scotland banners there. That is the start of the KOM, actually. So we'll see how they take this on from here on out. So the FDS started back there. Now, I think they all kind of came across about the same section here, Dave. So nice little kick from Alpha. Some of these riders did save their feathers. They're going to be the ones that got a huge advantage here. Some of them used them just to hang on, as you could see. But it is going to be the Wedwin now from Alpha with a good gap. I'm not sure they're going to swarm him. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a reprieve on this uphill. There might be a kick from the pack, but I think he's going to walk away with this one. The Alpha rider taking it down. Latham's now coming quickly here. And the battle was Rosebrook and Latham. I'm not sure which one came across there first. I think it may have been Rosebrook, actually. Alpha going 1-2, I believe.
Yeah, well, Alpha's got to be pretty happy with the way that the points have been falling out here over the last 15K. They put themselves in good position. And now you see the real fight that happens every time that there's points distributed. You go through this wash, sprint, and repeat cycle. Looks like everybody's going to hold on, though.
Yeah, looking back just a little bit. Abrantes. Rui, he was right there. He almost made it, Dave, when it came earlier with that kick to get back on terms, Dave. Remember when he was the one driving the pace to bring the group back, and then Jason English came over the top and actually brought the group back? Abrantes did so much work, it looks like, that it made it so he could not actually join that main front group. So we've got about 28 off the front. It does look like Enox, not off the front, but as a main group, that's the main peloton off the on the front. This is some of the chase, some of the damage that's been done, and this is going to be Christolian from Enox now. It looks like after that sprint, our man here from Alpha he's using a steamroller just out of like desperation, Dave, because it doesn't do anything.
Well, somehow it was Yeah, I mean, it's somehow he was able to get himself back in, and actually now is rolling through the group. Very interesting moment here. But I mean, the steamroller turns that tarmac into tarmac, so there's not much of a change. But Der Woodwin has been all over the map out here, back on the front now. This sub 30 rider group, we're calling it 28 riders in this group that we're with right now.
Turning the tarmac
Interesting
into
moment.
tarmac. I like that. That's a great,
Yes.
like, abracadabra. Tarmac, boom, there you got some tarmac. Look at that.
Turning
Nice one,
water
Alpha.
into water. Right.
Nice one there, Alpha. And there was plenty of others that were using it too. I get it though. Sometimes it's like, I need something, anything. I'll just do this thing, if something, and maybe it'll happen. I mean, those desperation moments, they are so real. They are so real.
In the commentary, I couldn't think of the word in the moment, but I was going to say it was a placebo power up. Right?
That's a good
it doesn't
one.
really do anything, but it feels.
That is a really good term. I'm using that one from now on. I'll mark it as yours, Dave. But that is 100% a real thing.
Yeah.
Placebo power-ups, they are real on Zwift because you're using. I mean, and then you do have negative power-ups, obviously, ones that are hurting if you're downhill and using a feather. But
can you imagine if they just randomly put an anvil up above you? That would not be good for your brain.
Well, that's kind of like, I mean, that'd be like Mario Kart style, right? Like that's some of these randomness. Now here we go. A little bit of a move. I saw some Alpha rider here.
Is that Alpha? Yeah, Alpha. Just positioning. I think I saw exactly what you're talking about, which just tells me that this team is on their A game. Does Alpha have 4 in this group here? So Alpha's the team that's 2 points behind AHDR. So AHDR has that blue. Boy, it's kind of hard to describe. Multi-blue swashes across. We look at another attack going up the road right now. That's
not a rider I'm familiar with, actually. They're sitting all the way down in 7th right now, so they need some point. Now, he needs a new kit. That's not the right kit there, Jacob.
That's not Grand Fondo.
Yeah, but
and
we appreciate you being here.
Steamroller turning water into tarmac here.
Hans Jacobs, there he is out of Belgium.
Jacobs.
Yeah, good to see him. Where is that? That's in
that's
a Tour de France
Alps.
somewhere.
That's not. Yeah, he's in the Alps, which of course he is. I would only imagine the number of Dutch and Belgian people you see enjoying their summer holiday in July, watching the Tour de France. We should do a live broadcast from there. Enfant terrible.
I'll work on it, Dave.
Veritas.
I'll see if we can get the budget. Okay, I'll work on it.
Yeah, see what you can do. So this is Michael, Enfant terrible, the Portuguese rider. I was mentioning Portugal having such a strong turnout. Shout out to Portugal
right there,
for
real
sure.
Quick, Dave. I just wanted to highlight that was the start right there of the KOM. We just saw them go through that banner, through that little
right at 18.1. Boom!
Yep.
That the road changes color right at the start there at the end of the bridge.
Nice.
Look how steep it gets.
Yeah, I mean this one's actually easier though, Dave. For me, at least the kind of rider that I am, I like it that I like the really punchy 2 to 3 minute. That's it. I don't want anything more than that. Like the other side is way harder for me. I like it just punch in the face, get it over with. Like let's go. But Taff here seems to like
that's your style. For sure. Yeah, and there's absolutely, when you talk about climbing, boy, there's a wide range of what riders like, from short to steep to long endurance type climbs. As we look at the Zedson rider, Taff, right now on the front, speaking of minions.
He's getting his inner minion. I love this.
Minions are a worldwide phenomenon, aren't they?
He's summoning his inner minion to make things happen here. I hope it's a happy minion that he's making push the watts at the front here. Energetic and not dragging himself on that bike. Great to see, though. Coming out of Wales, but what's the colors there on that minion, though? I wonder. The minion's going backwards. It's steel now.
Not Wales. Well,
it looked like Portugal to me.
It
looked like Portugal to me. Or Italian.
Mexican.
Or Italian. Yeah.
Right.
So steel, though. Steel's going to hold on. It is a steel there all the way to the line.
That's big for AHDR. So that's the jersey I'm talking about, that blue jersey on steel. How many more of those are back in this group? definitely Alpha. The team sitting in second place, 2 points behind that AHDR team. Now, there's another jersey that must have been up in the top 10 for AHDR. Talking about Aaron Steele here. Looks like a model. The could be one of the Thunder from Down Under guys that you see in the Las Vegas airport.
Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Yeah, so we'll get an
Huge
idea of who's all
compliment,
in here.
right?
We'll see who's all in here.
That's important. Yeah, and here goes HDR. Look at this rocket ship on the Tron bike rolling off the front.
That's
Even though this is
Nozaki. Very well known. I'm very familiar with this rider, actually. Nozaki from AHDR is always involved.
The Japanese
to see him.
station.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So watch out for him. And he is actually a teacup, just so you know.
Huh, very cool cup.
I love that. That thing's amazing.
Nozaki.
That thing is so cool, actually. Cool.
Oh, there's nothing beats the Japanese sense for style and art, and yeah, just beautiful. So Nozaki, let's watch what he can do, the AHDR rider. That makes sense, doesn't it, that they would have a Japanese rider on the team coming from that part of the globe. I love to see it. English, another rider on that team. Is it really, this is squaring off now, Nathan, AHDR. That's Australian Hump Day ride, if you're not already hip to that vernacular. And then Alpha, the other team here, Alpha in a black jersey with a bit of white squarely between the shoulders there. Best way I would describe it from here.
I think this is the lineup, I'm pretty sure, for HDR. 4 riders have made it here at this point.
Pretty good shape.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anybody
now
else.
Now the question becomes,
now look, the
does Alpha have
front,
4?
Though. Yeah, that's a big.
So
that's
like
a big,
the women's
I think
race,
they do. I think Alpha have at least that. Actually,
it looks like 4 or 5.
Yeah, now, Dave,
they might have 5. And actually,
here?
Well, one. Again, don't take the bait, Nathan. So Gran Fondo, what place are they in? If we go back and look, AHDR has got to really be focused on what Alpha is doing and vice versa. And they can't let they take their eye off the prize and worry about a GFT attack. Not to sell the Gran Fondo team short, but right now these two teams have bigger fish to fry, and that's the season-long
because they're in 7th,
battle.
right?
So,
so that's the thing.
That's not an impact. That's not an impact attack. So you have to recognize what matters and what doesn't. You can't put 2 feet in one shoe. You can only race the race that you're there to race. You can't all of a sudden start racing another race too.
All right, now moving to the
That's
front.
my new saying,
now,
2 feet in one shoe.
a whole bunch of riders all of a sudden found themselves back into this pack.
Look at Zedson.
The attacks were there, but now where is this coming from Zedson suddenly on the front?
I like it. I mean, I realize that we got a long way to go, but Zedson positioning 2 on the front just tells me that they're here to battle, as always, for that legacy Zwift team. But here comes the surge, and it looks like it's going to be Alpha first. Alpha going to play their cards, Nathan. Here we go on Clyde.
Yeah, and it is going to be, again, our man from Alpha continues to dominate these steel.
Monster
trying to come
alert.
through, but just unable to do so. As it's
okay, well, the Empire strikes back, because I would say at the last point scoring opportunity, it was the Australian Hump Day ride team taking. Yeah. So this time it looks like Alpha maybe going to get the better through that last truss.
This is going to come right down to it, isn't it, Dave? Because Alpha, how many riders do they have up here? Let's see if I can get a good look at this and get the idea.
It's a little less significant than in that women's race, right, where we were talking about a group of 9 where one team had 3 and another team had 2 kind of thing. Here it's a much larger group, but if Alpha has 5, and there's 4 right on our screen. So there's pretty decent chance
Look
there
at
is
this
another
guy.
Alpha
He's
rider.
on cobbles. This Sanders coming from Alpha also. Tim Sanders. I mean, that's as Netherlands as it gets. Look at this. I absolutely love it.
Legit.
Yeah, absolutely legit.
Look at it. His heart rate is really low. 116.
Yeah, well, he's trying to I think save up as much as he can for this next sprint is what he's looking for. As they're about to open things up here. They're heading into it. Here we go, Dave. There's already aero power-ups being popped. They're ramping this up super early.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, there's no rest for the weary out here. And, I mean, if you can reload anything, you do. But it's on now as you start to feel the intention, just the tension in the group ratcheting up and ratcheting up. And here we go into finale mode now.
Left-hand turn, just a moment here.
Setting.
They're going to see the banner out in front of him. Is he going to be able to hold on to this one? We're not going to see something similar, I don't think, as there's somebody already on the wheel. It's going to be Veritas here, coming with 10 watts per kilogram. Open up the sprint very early. That usually is able to win if he's got the kick to hold, but he doesn't, Dave. It's only 9 watts per kilogram. Kicks again at 12. He held up. He needed to hold the speed. We'll watch that back on the replay because that is so key, how he sat up for a second, and that actually probably lost that sprint for him, as it is going to be. Then Rusbrook from Alpha taking that one down. What a kick to the line there from Alpha. And that I saw a lot of Alpha jerseys at the front there, Dave.
Yeah. Boy, that's going to be tough. That we've joked over the years about, do you want the results now or do you want them correct? And I'm going to send everybody to WTRL.racing to find up to the moment results as soon as they're able to get everything squared away. This is going to be close. As we move into the final race of this unbelievably competitive season. Taking a look now at that sprint, and I think you were right, Nathan.
Did you see how he sat up there for just a second?
Just that
he sat up for just a second, and that ended up slowing him down so much, whereas the speed and the kick coming through at the exact right time of that downhill engagement of the downhill from Van Rusbeck is what actually gave him all that speed to walk away from everyone. He hit the arrow, power up, punched, exactly the right time. Look at the heart rate there, 196 beats per minute.
That's legit. So now the points are distributed through this group. Again, it's really hard to tell, Nathan, through that shot. The one thing I could tell is nothing's clear as far as what team comes away. It was a 2-point difference separating Alpha that was behind the AHDRL team. And you can see there's a couple, at least 2 of the Australian team got up into the top 8 there. Alpha, same situation. So, yeah, we'll have to look as they start adding up all of the points here to see what happened today. It's most likely that AHDR holds on to their lead, but is it going to be by 2 points?
Well, do you want to take this one away for us here, Dave, for the top 42 or so? We'll go through probably top 20 to 30, and then we'll jump on over to our next race. The ladies are out on course.
I'll keep going as long as you keep putting them up, Nathan. It's Jan van Ruysbroek taking the win. Michel Enfant Terrible. That is a scary name for a strong rider. Good job today for second place. Robert Killingberg for third. It's going to be Arsequiera in fourth out here. Again, this is our Open EMEAW Eastern 1As out on the Muckle Yin. They did one lap today that was just under 24K of racing. One of the most active riders and a big points getter was Andreas der Weduwen for fifth place today at the finish line. It's Philippe van Latham for the Gran Fondo team, the Belgian squad. They were very active today. In sixth, it's Andrea Seri for seventh, Aaron Steele in eighth, Naofumi Nozaki and Jason English. That's 3 riders right there, all from that AHDR team, Australian Hump Dave. So they got to be pretty happy with that. They'd obviously like to see them a little farther up the table. But there's your top 10. Let's see what happens between 11th and 20th with August Nording in 11th, Diogo Pereira in 12th. It's Luis Oliveira in 13th, Hans Jacobs for 14th, Unknown Fellow in 15th, Tim Sanders for 16th, Nathan Verheyen in 17th, John in 18th, Miguel Amancio in 19th. And it took a lot to make the top 20 today. As a matter of fact, you can see, I mean, some riders averaging over 5 watts per kilo, 5.4 for Nathan Verheyen there, 4.9 for Louis Bertoni. Good job today, Louis, finding the top 20 for himself and his team. So we'll keep working our way through our men out here on the Muckle Yin, as it's going to be Steve Taff of Zed Sun, 21st, Dries de Koster in 22nd, Jake Kremers in 23rd. 24th has Cesar S. It's Joran Pullman in 25th, Mirko Gritti in 26th, Pete Pinheiro in 27th today. Making the top 30 is Yori Verden, 28th. 29th is Alejandro Castrillon. And then 30th is Marco Suestra. So that's our top 30. We'll keep looking now. It looks like we found Lizzie Brooke out here. as the women already, well, they're just about actually to get into some pretty stiff climbing, to tell you the truth, here in another half K or so, as they'll be on the Sker Summit North. That's about a
Wild
one and
Lizzie
a
Brooke
half.
appears suddenly. I feel like we're watching a Pokemon or something like that. As
I
we are
found a
in.
Lizzie Brooke. Right.
I don't know if we're gonna
So
catch
Lizzie,
them
another
all, Dave.
well-known.
I don't know if we're gonna catch them all
Lizzie's
today.
been
But at least 4 off the back are gonna 5 off the back are gonna catch these ones, as it's gonna be Simon Jones, Nash, Bin, all coming back on terms. Some Ionian riders there hanging out the back. Daniela Estrate in the spot that you find her often. But this is Zwift Racing League Women's EMEA East Western 1. McGuigan 1 lap 23.6. Again, here we go, Dave. Is this Groundhog's Day? No. It's just gonna be 4 races today in EMEA.
all right, and we're well into the next one. This is where the legs are going to really start to burn on the Muckle
Yeah,
Yin,
so
the
what have they
big
done so
one.
far? They did the first sprint right from the get-go, right? And then they
Right.
did the breakaway reverse, okay? And now they're going to hit Sker Summit forward out here today. So we'll get the league points up here in just a second, but that's the situation so far, and they're about to hit their Sker Summit, Dave. And look at Daniela Estrate. Watch for that little KOM banner on the left-hand side. Look at that. She's got a full second, I would say, Dave, on the rest of the pack now for FTS.
Yeah, Daniela Estrate, one of the more recognizable names, a huge talent out of Romania that will always be a force to reckon with. I mean, once we take a look at where these teams stand, this is the A squad for Aeonian that we're looking at, the A plus squad, to tell you the truth, as we take a look, though, at Colombia of Team Castelli, doing a great job out here.
A little bit
So
of
the Aces.
They have so many points that they broke the board. No, it's the PDQ. It still has a really long name in there. But Castelli, yes, off the front. Brooke is there as well. But that's the situation for the league standings on the left-hand side of your screen.
So Wahoo Lacole, we'll take a look at that roster out here today and see what kind of a challenge they're going to give Aeonian. This Aeonian team is the kind of team that you would see in the Grand Prix, Nathan. It's nothing but quality racers, and they're going to make this tough out here. This 1.5K at 3.7% on gravel. This is one of the two really tough sectors that they race on out here today. The other being Sker Summit.
Yeah, and so Aces BL13. It looks like for some reason their specific board is giving us FAL and FTS points. So perhaps I'm not sure why that's happening, but instead of being just the team league standings, but we'll see if we can get an update on that. But at least we can see where they stand for first through fourth place right now between them. Coalition there as well, fifth, and then Team Castelli. Now it looks like Team Castelli has showed up to play out here today, as they were on the move early on, but now Lizzie Brooke and Rachel Brown, they're on the move as well. 6.5 watts per kilogram coming from Brown now, chasing her teammate down, but not really of any consequence as far as like making things difficult on Lizzie, as this is still going to be about the points at the top here between the two of them. We'll see if Brown can take that second place. Brooke, has she done enough though to hang on, is going to be the big question here. Is there still a couple of S turns to go before they actually have that kick to the line?
But she's the kind of rider that I would bet on, with the depth of experience that she's got in real life and racing on esports. She was actually in Scotland for the World Championships of Esports going back, more than a year ago, but they held an in real life event there too that Lizzie traveled up for. There you go, seeing her national team jersey, different than the Wahoo Lacole jersey, but they are going to make the catch. But I have a feeling that the extensive damage is going to be seen at the back of this group.
Joe
How
Blackburn
about
now.
Blackburn
wow,
here?
This is quite the move from Joe. She's going to hold on to the line, I think, here, Dave. Early move. And talk about a donkey kick here. Right to the line.
Yeah.
Brooke going to hold on for second.
Which is impressive that Brooke does hold on for second after that whole group came up to her. So that one, it all comes out in the wash when you're looking at the top two teams. We didn't quite have a chance to see how close third and fourth, but I really do think this one's going to come down to, when you look at the big season, Aeonian versus Wahoo Lacole. This is Joe Blackburn and friend.
Yeah, Vicky Whitelaw
Is that a
is there
burro
as
or a
well.
donkey?
Oh,
What have
sorry. Vicky
Either way.
Whitelaw now up and over the top, it looks like here. I'm not sure which one that was. Maybe she'll let us know who that animal was. But
Her
good
pal.
to see. Yeah, good to see hanging out. She's probably out on a ride and like saw maybe
Found that
but
guy. Yeah.
found like so it was time for a picture for sure. But it looks like here, Dave, Team Castelli early moves but unable to make the break here. Dave, we saw them definitely involved on the early slopes of that climb, but now on the back foot a little bit. Here goes Toyota Cryo DT. Have they made the front group? Because it looks like Zhang now has really got the alarm bells on here because there's nobody from Toyota Cryo DT up front.
Wow. I mean, Nathan, when you take a look at this start list, this looks like a Zwift Grand Prix event with the quality of riders, or Esports Olympics or World Championships. I mean, this is one of the strongest fields that we've got of the nearly 20,000 racers out here. This is quite a collection as we take a look at just pandemonium going on right now here. We'll have to go back again. I apologize that we can't look at all of these points as they stack up, but what you kind of want to do is get a feel, Nathan, for the shift of power, right? What team? And it looked like Beta had a lot of riders rolling through up there.
Those boys are not here any longer. That was interesting. So now BL13 getting involved. Coalition, as you said, here also with the Beta team. We're seeing WLC. Yeah, a lot of, like usual. They're so good, aren't they? At putting exactly the riders where they need to be.
Yeah, Nathan, how good are they? Well, they put 5 riders into what looks like a 12-rider front group. So, but Wahoo Lacole has 2 or 3 in this group, so not quite what you're looking for. But again, against Aeonian, they're just a murderer's row when you talk about that team. I mean, they've got Marina Odyssey out here, Miriam Bullock, Vicky Whitelaw on the team today, and you've already talked about Daniela Estrate, one of the most talented esport racers on the planet, and Amy Henderson. So this is quite a team that they've got out here. There's the Argentinian flag of Marina Arce moving up through this group. So everybody else has really got their hands full with this squad.
Now here's a little bit of a chase happening, trying to get back on terms. Toyota Cryo DT did struggle to even get one rider up there, but it looks like Eck as well as Natalie Stevenson are going to be looking to try and bridge this back up, but they're about to take on this breakaway very forward. Are there going to be a little bit of a punch here? Triton might try and go to cross, it looks like, at 5 watts per kilogram. And this may work out for her actually to get back involved at the front end of this field, because they are not pushing too many orange numbers at the front. And she is going to get there because they know that breakaway Bray is coming real quick. So she used that to her advantage. Nice kick here.
Well, and that's, well done out here. That's Kate Turton that we're looking at now, the Australian. Looks like she's well suited to this course out here today. Boy, she's doing some work too. Look at that heart rate right now, Nathan. Well over 190.
193. And that was a make it or break it moment, though, wasn't it, Dave? And now she's back involved. But the sprint's going to kick again. If I were Kate, maybe I would go for some points here, perhaps. But I would probably be looking just to make sure that I stay involved so that I can be with them over the Sker Summit reverse. Because, if you put too much energy after getting dropped. Now look at BL13. This is interesting, Dave. Classic from BL13. Now coming from the ladies' side of things, though.
Good for them. And now they look like they might even have 3 riders up in this group, which is really impressive. This is Laura Meyer that we're with now, riding off of the front, showing everybody rear wheel. I don't like her teammate chasing her down.
Yeah, interesting enough here. There's Laura Meyer. She brings things back together. Actually was off the front and was brought back together here. Now Lizzie Brooke, it looks like, and the rest of Wahoo Lacole taking over as they make their way over toward that KOM banner in just a moment. Watch the left-hand side of your screen, everybody. You see those flags? That's where it starts. Those Scottish flags off in the distance are going to take a left-hand turn toward them, and right about there is where the actual KOM 4FTS starts. And look what Aeonian are doing yet again.
Moving
BL13.
to the back.
Look at BL13 though. Now starting to play the same game, but is that because she's hurting?
It's an interesting game.
Is she hurting?
How far back? No, she's teeing this up. Or
Oh
no,
yeah, 12
actually,
watts per
well,
kilogram. There it is.
good for
She's
her.
100% going for this. That's the full 3 seconds, maybe, Dave, to the front of this pack. Now she
I
needs to
want to
just
see her heart rate now.
roll right through him. Roll.
Yeah,
She has to just keep on rolling. Brooks says, "Come on, chase me if you can." Going for FAL. Can Trayton hold on? Because there's going to be a whole lot. There's a feather brower up with the speed into this. Look at the way that Trayton's played this.
she's
This
got
is
more to give.
amazing.
And if she actually, this would be one of the greater FAL FTS throwdowns we've ever seen. If she can get up there and make that catch, and it looks like Kate might do it. This is Kate Tart in the yellow jersey coming through. That is impressive. Holy moly, a rider that, well, it looks like she's just going to get pipped at the line by Ercevic. It's not quite over, but still, right there, she's going to pick up massive points in both FTS,
That's FTS
and FAL.
and third in FAL. Third in FAL.
Yeah.
And then the FTS as well. And Dave,
And she
I
has
gotta
to get the
highlight
FTS.
this. I
So,
have to highlight this, Dave, because this is so crucial. The way that just lesson
she went
learned.
all the way to the back, which is, so that's just experience. We all have learned that if you want to get the FTS, that you have to position yourself and ride through the group and try to surf the field. So it takes a lot of courage. So her heart rate was at 193 beats per minute just a couple minutes ago when we were watching her dangling off the back of the group. So that was really unexpected.
Yeah, and Dave, one thing I really want to because I'm learning something here. I've been watching Zwift racing for a long, long time. Okay. And this is still new to me. What is happening with this pack dynamics. Okay. Because I would say that in most situations, depending on the way that the pack is behaving, it's really going to be hard to judge it. But the way that this pack behaved here, they sat and waited for so long. And speed is so incredibly important with the new pack dynamics that she found herself in a situation where she had way more speed than the rest of these riders, comes through with that speed, grabs onto these wheels here, and because of that, the way that this new the wind at the front, that the CDA on the rider, the dynamic of that, the way that it holds people back when they want to jump, you don't get that quick jump as much anymore. And because of that, her speed carried her all the way through here. That back to front, Dave, it's not something you see often, but because of the way the pack behaved there, she was able to hold on to third and go from all the way from the back. That is just so impressive, actually. Now, I don't want to play down Daniela Strate or Ercevic there, but I mean, it's just not something that you see that often anymore, and it's really well played by her.
Yeah, absolutely. Serious Zwiftcraft. So ultimately, though, Aeonian takes the Lioness's share of points through that last sector and just going to be stacking them like cordwood at this point. There's the duathlete, Rachel Brown, always an animator and a dictator out here in this field. So she's going to be the teammate of Lizzie Brooke. There's Rachel Brown actually moving up to the very front right now. So when things get tough is when she really shines. So I'll be keeping an eye on Brown, and the BL13 team doing a really good job of keeping riders up in the mix like Murray here. But ultimately, it looks like Aeonian, kind of like a cat playing with the mouse in the corner of the room right now, as they've really got things going their way out here.
Yeah, who's at the back here? Daniela Strate here now as well. Now who's getting Stevenson again? Getting back on turns.
Natalie Stevenson here. She could go flying off the front at any moment as well, the Toyota Cryo rider.
Yeah, and I mean, I
don't think she was back
if she did.
They actually have 3. Toyota Cryo has 3 in this group, which is not bad at all for today. They could be riding their way.
There were definitely alarm bells earlier, so I think that they've done a good job of settling it down enough to stay in contention, because earlier things were not looking good for them. It definitely seemed like things were maybe going to get out of control, but it looks like they were able to rein it in and find themselves now in a good position actually for a solid result.
Yeah, and I mean, they might be the second placed team on the day, as I only see 2 Wahoo LaCold jerseys. It'll make a big difference what's happening right behind this group here as well. These are the 5 riders all in our front group right now. Amy Henderson, Vicky Whitelaw, Daniela Estrate, Joe Blackburn, and Marina Arce.
All riding for
what jerseys Marina wearing? in the photo here.
That's a good question. We'll see if we can bring that in for everybody.
Must be maybe her Argentinian team that she rides for. I'm wondering. Can't quite read that.
But nicely done by them to put 5 in the front group. It's going to be tough to beat them on the day. As Wahoo Lacole, they're going to have to, I mean, they would have to do something insane. Like, I don't know, even know if it's possible at this
There's
point.
nothing you could do. I mean, if with 5 riders in this front group, it wouldn't matter if you took every spot in order behind this group. You're not going to overcome them. So there's absolutely no chance that Aeonian doesn't win this day if this group finishes without being caught by riders behind them.
In with Rachel Brown now.
I mean, to be fair, Aeonian has a situation that's very unique in the world of esports, and it's due to the hard work and dedication that they put in. They've built up a roster of a couple hundred riders, Nathan, that are part of this team, feeder teams. They were really the first team that I saw that could move riders around, and if they had an illness or an injury, replace riders with quality for quality versus a huge drop off, because they had this stable of athletes that were racing on A teams, B teams, C teams, and they kind of built their own community in the community.
Now to the front.
Talking about Aeonian.
Here, Dave, the rider Colombe, she has been on the attacks early like this, coming with the Italian style now as she continues to put the herd on early in these climbs now. As Celine Colombe now to the front, but now Brooke now going to take over.
Well, I think now, Nathan, we're going to move into the individual effort is going to supersede the team effort. These riders are going to be racing just to get to that finish line. Case in point, Lizzie Brooke here. Lizzie's always got a nose for the finish, and she's going to show that here as Lizzie goes on the attack, making a consistent 5.7 watts per kilo right now. This is a neighborhood that she can stay in for quite a while. She starts to even pick it up a little bit more. So Lizzie's going to put a few riders in that group out the back door, it looks like. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now. So we're going to make a selection out of the selection here as we make our run into the final 5K here.
Yeah, Blackburn now trying to chase that down from Aeonian. Aeonian does see some alarm bells here. Does not want to let Brooke go too much here. Is not what is going on behind here. Is there actually some riders that were looking to come back on terms with this? Is 12th all the way out here? Argues there from Coalition. I think they calmed down enough that there were some riders that were trying to get back on terms with this group. But now Colombia's lit the fire, but Brooke here, she's going to take it all the way. No, Blackburn comes over the top. Excuse me. Where did that come from? I went backwards for a moment there. Next thing you know, Aeonian are on the front again. And here comes Blackbird with an anvil power-up.
They put 3 in the top 5 as they came through there. So Aeonian just putting more sugar on top here. Is this going to be Joe Blackburn now dropping that anvil? This is going to be a group of, it looks like, I don't even think we'll quite make a dozen now up in our front group. Is that Nevin, the Coalition rider here, coming over the top or sliding under. See that gap large enough. It's going to take a lot to rejoin this front group right now as they're on the gas. Does Aeonian keep all 5? They do.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, they were able to keep all 5 in the front group. That's actually really noteworthy how top heavy this team is.
Toyota Cryo still with 2. Nicely done. We still see also Team Italy and Castelli, excuse me. There still as well with Columbia able to make this front group. Now looking backwards, Brown unable to hang
Brooke
on.
Made
looks
it.
like Wahoo Lacole now have lost one rider in that front group. It looks like Breely now from Beta. Good ride from Breely. This is a name to watch out for, as she's making
the question
Anna.
Now. Yeah, and I think really the story here now is Toyota Cryo is riding their way up into a second-place team here today. That ship has sailed when you talk about Aeonian. What's interesting to me is that Toyota Cryo is getting the better of Wahoo Lacole today.
Yeah, it's a good call, actually, as we look at this here real quickly. Toyota Cryo, 4th place right now. BL13, 3rd.
I'd like to see
standings.
Where are they? I mean, can they make a run at second place overall, Toyota Cryo? I'm not sure how.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
how the
going to
points
assume that
actually
Aeonian
stand
has
in the league
80.
overall. Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call, Dave. I'll see if I can find that information, actually.
Yeah, because this might be really the panic stations for Wahoo Lacole is more likely as it looks like. I mean, you'd have to have a little more data than we have, but it looks like Toyota Cryo might be making a real run at. They're sitting in fourth, third, second, maybe. Good for them for keeping their eye on the prize out here.
For the league
They got
table,
two.
currently 78 points for Aeonian, 76 for Wahoo Lacole. And then BL13 at 71 and Toyota all the way down at 68. I think there's just too much.
So, yeah, there's not enough.
Yeah,
That's
this
too big of a
8-point
gap.
differentiation. It's a pretty big gap. They would have to. The Wahoo Lacole would have to have a whole, like a no point kind of day to fall outside of the top 4. Top 3 though with BL13, but BL13 are not making a run at this today because
Rachel
they're
Brown
nowhere
has
involved.
rejoined. Rachel Brown rejoining this front group, Nathan. So Wahoo Lacole, I mean, I thought I'm a little surprised to tell you the truth that Aeonian isn't on 80 points here because to tell you the truth, Wahoo Lacole is still in a position where if Aeonian doesn't have a good team time trial for the final week of this season, Wahoo Lacole could pickpocket the season win from them.
Team
There's a
Italy just
happy bike
continues
racer.
to like press the pace over and over again. I mean, they're playing the aggression. You know, that's what's going on here with Team Castelli coming out of Italy here. They've definitely been on the front over and over again through these sections, of course. This isn't going to play out for them the best on the points, but they're definitely aggressive on the day.
Speaking of aggression,
Toyota now. Who's that? Dijon now on the attack.
De Jong. Yeah, on this really, really steep pitch here. But look at Aeonian, the charge of the light brigade as they send their Vicky Whitelaw, De Jong and Henderson here, Estrate as well. So that's going to be Lizzie Brooke, though, coming through. I think Lizzie probably snatched top points there for Wahoo Lacole. Wahoo Lacole desperately needs to get second place today if they want to have a chance to try to upset Aeonian in the team time trial.
I don't know. Her and Vicky were right. That was pretty close between her and Vicky. Really close between the two of them. Nice kick, though. Now the attacks are going to start happening. They got the numbers, Dave. I have a feeling Aeonian are just going to start sending people.
Yeah,
maybe that's Coalition. No, excuse me. I thought it was Aeonian. It's Ann Nevin. Suddenly, Ann Nevin's like, I'm gonna see what I can do here. Coming up and over the top here. Good to see.
I have a feeling this is going to be a lot of times when you're in a room with really smart people, they'll let you talk until you're done talking, and then they'll just tell you the truth. I have a feeling that's what Aeonian's going to do here. They're going to let everybody else talk themselves out and then just crush this final.
Will it be a 1-2-3? I don't know. Taking on Wahoo Lacole. Lizzie likes to win. Lizzie likes to win. I would not be surprised if Lizzie takes this down, but it's going to be a tough one. Well, look at this.
So does Daniela Estrate.
What is that? Team Italy. Castelli. No, it's Castelli again. Colombia on the move.
Colombia. Wow, good for her. You know what? You got to love heart in racing, and it certainly fits that the Italian showing passion here as she attacks. And I mean, Aeonian doesn't have to catch her as they're going to win the race today and take the 20 points that comes along with it. Never noticed that cool hand cycling poster over there on the wall. As we take a look though at Colombia now, all in, she's fully committed. We still have quite a ways to go.
Brooke says no. Brooke says no. Brooke coming 6 watts per kilogram. Now here comes a bunch of aero power ups. This is a drag race to the line here. Is somebody getting the setup with the punch here? Marina Arce, I think, is going to be the one who's getting that setup. Is it going to be? Is it going to be? It is. She got the perfect setup. The drag race to the line ended up being the lead out. And Aeonian, as you said, the last ones to speak. They are going to just maybe go 1, 2, and 3. Woo!
There you have it. Podium sweep, and that was well earned today. I mean, every time there was a selection, they were on the right end of it. Aeonian, a master class out here today. Well, rolling on. So that's going to give them the full 20 points. There's no question about the way that one plays out. What I'm really wondering is, does Wahoo Lacole end up with enough points to hold on to second out here? Lizzie Brooke did everything she could with her teammate Rachel Brown. We'll see how the points fall as they'll actually be every point matters, as we say in WTRL. And those points are still being scored as we speak right now for the women.
I just want to real
Great
quickly
racing.
take a look at this move by Columbia. I really like the way that she rolled through on this downhill section. This final really steep downhill right before the run into the finish line. You can see that aero power up. She was off the back. She used it. It looks like, I'm not sure if she used it as a counter or she was just trying to get on terms and then found herself like, well, I've got a ton of speed. Let's just go with this. And she ends up setting up this situation. Now, Dave, it's almost like she played the Ionian card for them. Like, right, it was almost like she was like she wasn't a teammate, but it sent someone that then caused a response to come from Lizzie Brooke that then she's like, I'm going to try and go for the win, uses her arrow power up, and the Ionian's just sitting pretty back there with Arce.
The command position, right? Confidence and a game plan and understanding what you're doing makes a huge difference. And that's really how Aeonian rolls week in, week out. And this is, as I said, another masterclass. And this is what they do.
Well played. Here it comes
Watching
to the line. Arce, you can see the kick and when she went with the speed. Estrate almost catching her teammate actually there. Vicky White.
Yeah, I thought Estrate would be good for Marina Arce, a very well-rounded rider. We're going to have to look at that back-end API. It's interesting, too, the nations that they're representing couldn't be too much farther apart on the globe. Romania is where Daniela Estrate is racing, and Marina Arce racing in Argentina. So all of that has to come together and look at the back-end API to see who actually won. The good news for them is it doesn't matter much, does it, when it's on the same team? The points all go into the same bank account.
Well,
we got one more race in this batch to look forward to as the EMEAW Western 1, same course out here, but we got our results first with, it was Marina Arce taking the win with Daniela Estrate good for second and Vicky Whitelaw rounding out an Aeonian podium. Jenny Eck out there racing, the Finnish World Team member, taking fourth. I didn't notice Jenny's name in that group, so good job today, Jenny. And Nevin for fifth, Joe Blackburn in sixth, Lizzie Brooke ends up in seventh with her teammate Rachel Brown in eighth. They were very active today. There's another Aeonian rider, Amy Henderson in ninth, and then Celine Colombi with that late race attack, scintillating attack there late in the race as she holds on for top 10. Elisa de Jong makes the front group today and finishes 11th with Anna Brearley in 12th. Roberta Busone in 13th with Kate Turden, exciting everybody. Great racing, Kate. We'll hear a lot more from her, that's for sure. There's Amanda Argue finding the top 15 today with Natalie Stevenson in 16th, Martina Erzsevik in 17th, Vanessa Murray 18th. 19th place went to Laura Meyer, and then rounding out our top 20 is Elisa Healy in this really competitive EMEAE Western 1. 21st place went to Miriam Bullock. Joanne Reitzma for 22nd. Ursulia Kasani in 23rd. It's Signe Clinting for 24th place today. Elrika Harmsen finds 25th. Iris of the BL13 team in 26th. Anna Biani in 27th. Katy Perry in 28th. 29th was Maria Frisk. And then Becca Nash finds the top 30 today. We actually had, I think, 42 racers. So good job, everybody. Back in now with the Hunky Chasers. And this is how the season standings look. Electric Spirit, one of our all-time favorite teams. This is the Sling edition, Nathan, having a great season here. They're 78 points. So they've won 2 and been second twice out here over the 4 races, with Dirt Wolfpack sitting in second. This is where the real battle is, to tell you the truth, with Dirt Wolfpack at 70 points, only 1 point ahead of SDW ABSPA. ABISPA. I'm not sure if you're supposed to say it that way. 69 points for them in third. Team 175, just 66 points. It's so close here with Level Skyweb in fifth at 65 points, 64 points for Early Dawn Activist Society. Chunky Chasers in seventh. It's Otsukare in eighth, VCV Alfred in ninth, and then Scottish Borders RT. Rounding out your top 10 there, but with Electric Spirit Company, up on top of the table. And they're pretty clear, Nathan, with an 8-point advantage. They'd have to have not even really one bad day, but a couple bad days, which is highly unlikely. The real fun racing, I think, is going to happen in that second, third, fourth, fifth spots. Back to Scotland. We take a look at Beatty here, just a small gap off of the front. This is the Muckle Yin course that you would have seen at the World Championships. Look at all those feathers. We can talk about the power-ups today. Anvil, Steamroller, and Feather. And they all are useful. There's no question that using them at the right time is going to be a big difference maker. Obviously, that feather taking 10% off your body weight is going to be critical. You can see them up left, right, and center right now. As this is going to be one of our first opportunities to really make a difference out here. We're going to be scoring FTS points and FAL points along the way before we get to the lion's share points waiting at the finish line. This is our open class that we're looking at. This is getting strung out here. Some big efforts being made.
Yeah, interesting to see a lot of riders actually coming out of Scotland, isn't there, Dave? So some of their home territory, it looks like. Beatty, McLeod. I saw one other I thought there as well, but now Beatty back to the front.
Do you feel faster?
Push it. Do I feel faster?
You feel faster racing in Richmond because it's the United States?
I don't identify. Actually, I don't.
You know what I mean?
All I care about is like, what's the course? Show me. Let's go. Here we go, though. First one we're going to be able to watch here today. There was already one sprint going through the initial kick out of the start pens, but now Electric Spirit coming. Endersby, watch out for this, man. He's got the kick. I've sprinted with this guy plenty of times before, but is it too much, too early? A lot of times it does get swarmed at the line. Watch this. It's going to level out for a second. A lot of speed's going to come from the middle of that pack. Can Endersby hold on to the line? Coming around the corner here. Teammates, there it is. Well, Endersby holds on SDW. Then it's going to be Creeber, also Electric Spirit Company 1, 2, and 3. That's the situation there to the line. Nice little sprints. That does score 10 deep, though, Dave. FTS and FAL. So plenty that were scored behind there. We'll see how it continues to play out. As who is the pink kit? That's what I want to know.
That sprint really encapsulates the season. I think that's the Hunky Chasers in the pink.
EDAS
we will find.
Is what I'm seeing in the name, but they're using the Betty designs. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, EDAS. What is Early Dawn Activist Society? That's what that stands for. Yeah. There's also Team 175, and they're both using the same jersey, though, it looks like. I think.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, look, like you can see are they different? No, maybe they are a little different. I can't tell if they're a little bit different.
I don't think the Betty squad could have ever seen the reach that their jersey would have when there's two men's teams using it in one event. But more power to them. And I think you're right. There's a lot of wow. Okay. Well, this is what you get when you have 20,000 racers in the WTRL as well. You're going to get a little overlap every now and then. We could have bigger problems, couldn't we, Nathan?
Team 175 definitely
does make it confusing.
It does a little bit. Like there's a little. We've got a lot of pink. There's a lot of pink. There's a lot of orange. Now we've got some neon off the front.
Before you say he's chasing his teammate, you have to double check your start list. That's for sure.
Now, Dave, I thought about doing something like this in this race. You know. And I don't know. I mean, before hitting the skirt, can you get enough time to actually make any sense out of what this rider is doing? But I would thought about doing a little bit of something like this. Look at Matt Gilmore, super arrow coming out of the UK.
Wow.
I don't know if he's going anywhere though. But nice little picture.
I'm surprised. He looks young to me that his brake levers aren't jacked in the current style. He looks like he's in the 90s with his straight ahead brake levers there, Matt. It's getting to be rare when you go to a race now that you see. Well, certainly, I mean, even the old guys my age do that with their brake levers now, looking for the extra 2.5 watts that you get by doing that. Back to the front, though. It looks like everything's all together. These guys are going to be aggressive. And, Nathan, that orange and white jersey, kind of the barber pole look, that's Electric Spirit Co. They were one of the first teams that came in, it's probably 3 years ago now, with it's a distillery in Scotland, award-winning. You can go online and see their webpage. They're really quite impressive in the passion that they have at Electric Spirit Company that have remained a legitimate sponsor of the team. They're connected. The team all has created their own community, as we were talking about with Aeonian earlier. But Electric Spirit Company has been one of the real success stories on Zwift.
Yeah, I absolutely love that team, and it's great to see them out here representing right now, as they are the dominant force when it comes to this specific European division so far. But again, off the front here, Dave, this is going to be Wilson, and he's solid, almost 7 watts per kilogram here, coming from C. Wilson. I'm going to see if I can get some information about this rider. Not familiar. No pick actually in game, it looks like here, but Cal Wilson now on the move. And in this orange jersey, that's going to be the Scottish Borders, I believe, team that he's going to be riding for, if I'm not incorrect, because that is the kit that they're showing in the league table. So, nice little move here. Now, this tends to get swallowed back up by the pack when they go this early, Dave. I'm not sure he's going to go bottom to top here.
Yeah, so, I mean, when we look at the points opportunities, it always does make you wonder what's in the mind of our racers out here. They trying to get a sneaky and roll away with some points. I don't know if that's going to be the case here as we hit this critical sector. This is one of the toughest parts of the race. We see significant damage being done through here, Nathan. I'd expect the same here this time.
Yeah, Crofts now from the Dirt WP4 team now to the front. It's going to be
Steamroller.
Now, who is this on the front here now? We've got VCV now with Holt in this neon kit. Oscar for VCV. Nice little move here from him. Let's see if he can hold on. Not going to be happening, though. That VCV team, that's the same
Oscar
kit, Dave.
Holt.
That's the same kit that we saw from Matt actually a moment ago. So I'm wondering if this is in real life team representing right now.
That would be cool, for sure. So the power-ups today, again, if you're just joining us, Anvil, Steamroller, and Feather. Rare that we see the Steamroller, but I love it when we do because that means we're going to have a lot of gravel as we take a look at Sam Crofts here on the front. Sam, another super experienced Zwifter. Gotta love seeing that dirt kit. I know Christopher Schwenker loves seeing it. The dad's indoors riding trainers, a movement of the people. And this is one of the really strong dads, Nathan.
Yeah, making a real move here all the way to the line as Cross now continues to kick. Let's see if he can hold on to it here for the dirt team. Looks like he's going to do it as right behind him, Kanya for 175, though, is going to be the next one for second place across the line. Ued is there as well from Japan, and then it is going to be Barrett for SDW. Lots of separation, though, here, Dave, as things just went bonkers over the top of the Sker Summit.
Yeah, Nathan, what happens now? I mean, we talk about regrouping,
this is a move.
but we
move.
haven't
No, 175. Look at 175. Two of them, both with anvils on the front here, making the move. 9 seconds out, Dave. I mean, where's Electric Spirit? They're the leaders, but they're not there.
Well, let's see if how they're going to right the ship. I don't even see many orange and white jerseys in this chase group right now. This is absolutely bananas here, as we're not even halfway into there. So there's one rider from the team that's been dominating here. They've been undefeated through the season, but now it looks like they are really up against it here, as that's going to be, oh boy, we were talking about how the fact that there's two teams using this Betty Squad jersey. I'm not sure, well, we'll be able to get some data here.
This is 175. So both of them are 175. Yeah, both of them. Out of Poland, both of them actually too.
Interesting. So, okay. So, will this be the winning move? I wouldn't bet against it. It's awfully early here, but they've made a huge play right now. Oscar's there. Oscar Holt, the VCV rider, who looked incredibly strong earlier. Sam Crofts is there. He's the dirt rider that really lit the fuse. Nathan, when you look back behind this group,
4 seconds. 4 seconds to Beatty. Beatty here. Electric Spirit Company trying to do something. They've got two monster riders here. Okay. Monster riders here with Kreber, Humpton here as well. We've got Endersby and a whole.
They're going to rejoin.
So now this group is 15 seconds back. level here, just all alone.
Wow.
Humpton from Electric Spirit Company though with 3 riders. They're going to get on terms. I don't know about that group behind that's 10 seconds back now at this point. Is the motivation going to be here? Now, I have a feeling that Electric Spirit Co. will just sit up though because they want their teammates to come up to this main group. It's going to be up to the rest of this group, the rest of the riders in this front group to do the real work, I would think, because Electric Spirit Co., their interest is going to be in that group catching that's 10 seconds back.
All right. Well, boy, real moment of not panic, but pressure being put on Electric Spirit Company. That's exactly what you want to do, even though we're into the 5th of 6 races this season. I love the fact that these other teams are fighting. EDOS is a good example of that. Fit, not lit, Tim. I dig the shirt. I dig the vibe. As another level 60 Zwifter up here. So it's also cool. I wonder how Electric Spirit.co recruits, probably just like any other Zwift team, right? You find folks through rides in the community and connect that way. But it's interesting to see an American
Dave,
on
I'm
this
sorry
team.
I missed this. I'm sorry that I missed this, but what's going on here? That's 13 seconds, Dave. They sat up and Wilson just went. I didn't even see. That must have been on the downhill. The moment Electric Spirit caught, Wilson just said, forget it, I'm gone. He's pushing 7 watts per kilogram over the top of this.
The English rider for Relentless is the rider that we're in with now, Chris Wilson. Let's take
Cal
a little
Wilson,
bit more.
I believe it's Cal. Unless, well, maybe in game and Zwift Power are a little bit different, perhaps. He's out of the United States, this rider.
Oh, different. There's two C. Wilsons. Chris Wilson of Relentless, but Cal Wilson here.
I'll send over some Zwift Power profile to you.
Let's get him on our...
just so you know. BD now trying to bring this back, but I think Cal is going. He's not waiting up for anybody, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's watch here. So, I mean, 10K to go, 14, 15 second advantage. The dynamic that you have to look at, Nathan, is how big, if Cal Wilson rides away and takes all of the FAL, FTS, well, he's not going to take FTS points, but FAL points and the finish line points, which is still a ways away. I'm definitely looking into a long range telescope here. But if he were to do that, how much does that affect the guys sitting back in the chase group now?
Yeah, I mean, it's not huge. Like this, I mean, who's he? He's riding for the Scottish Borders RT, I believe.
They're the last place team.
Yeah.
They were the 10th place team. So, I mean, he's not going to ruffle the feathers of any of the only thing it would be is about pride, to tell you the truth, and the racing dynamic of how fast they go back in that group. But he's not going to affect the ultimate outcome for the top 5 teams here with this ride. He's going to affect his own life in a major way. But this for...
He's going to affect this. I like how you said that, Dave. It's a life-changing moment for Kyle Wilson. He's definitely a new Zwifter. He's only level 18. He's not actually attached to Zwift
can't even
Power.
Find him.
He's only got 3. He's got 3 races, Dave. So definitely very new, very, very new to the world of racing here. But now back in with the sprint here. This is going to bring back some of that time. It is going to be Kriba. From that Electric Spirit Company team, holding on to a solid Ross now, kicking. Is he going to hold on to it, though? I don't know. Over the top, it may actually be able to come over the top with Barrett. Barrett, STW's timing it right there. And Crofts, though, with the sprint, Crofts continues to impress, taking it down for Dirk.
Wow, Sam. Yeah, Sam and Fuego out here. Yeah, just going back and taking a look at Cal, Nathan, yeah, you're absolutely right. He's only really registered 3 Zwift races, so that would be, and 2 of them have been in this race league, ZRL. He did it looks like he raced, a couple weeks ago and a month ago. So really new to the sport. To be riding off the front of a strong group like this is extremely impressive.
Looking at Rory Barrett here now, as he's been very contentious at the front of this race so far for each and every one. He's really timing things well, actually. I'm impressed so far by the way that he's timed each and every one of his kicks. Going to get a little cross traffic. Whoa, almost nailed him. as they took their turn off into their turn onto the breakaway brave forward in just a moment. Those other riders that we saw crossing, but now Beatty now heading to the front, looking to try and close things down to Cal Wilson. But watch out for this guy, Rory Barrett, because I think he is a savvy rider. He has been waiting for his moments to pounce and does exactly what he needs to at just the right times. But Dave, we've got 3 creamsicle kits, don't we? And that's really the story, I think, right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, is Cal Wilson going to be the ice cream man and hold them off out here, or are they going to get the creamsicles at the finish line? I'm really interested to see. This is a really unique scenario as we watch our group getting down to, let's call it 8K of racing now.
What is the third rider we've got here?
Yeah.
Anderson. That's the third rider with Anderson. Okay. So 3 of them. David Anderson from
Wilson is still making a lot of power.
Yeah, off the front. I think he's gone. I think they're letting him go. But this is going to be the full lineup here for Electric Spirit Co.
Now,
that
is it all T175 for our?
No, there's one.
So all 3.
EDOS. One of them is EDOS. One of them's Nakamatsu is
and that's the Japanese rider.
The Early Dawn Activist Society. So,
EDOS.
Yeah.
There you go. So wearing that same kit. So actually, right now, things looking pretty good for Electric Spirit Company. Here goes Oscar again. Oscar Holt attacking for VCV.
I like this guy. On the move. And catching Beatty here.
Yeah, definitely. Super active. Yeah, so the Scottish rider, Beatty, going to go back now to chase 1. Remembering that Cal Wilson, the American, still riding for Scottish Borders team, still 19 seconds off ahead of Oscar, the rider we have in the yellow jersey on your screen right now. That's our leader as we go back up to the vanguard of this race. And he's down to, 6 and some change kilometers of racing here. So, I mean, it looks like we might see a solo win on a very, very challenging course out here today. Oscar wants it to be him. Oscar would love to get a solo win, and he's still in the hunt, down to 18 seconds now. So at some point you flip the script, and Cal Wilson has to stop gaining time but giving it back, and that might be now.
Yeah, Oscar here, solid little punch there. Does cause some separation. Beatty isn't able to hold on as he came flying by here, actually. Oscar did make the catch of Beatty and then just said, forget it, you got to hold on or I am leaving. Dole and Kanya, both 175, holding things up at the front here. They're not interested in the chase, and nobody else is either. They're waiting for the explosion that is going to be the Skirt Summit reverse in just a moment. And that's going to bring back a good amount of time, but it's not going to be 20, 30 seconds, though.
But will it be 15, 20 seconds? That's probably likely. 15 sounds fair. So this is far from a done deal.
Too. Enough anvil, rollover speed on the other side.
Just a large enough group, right? I mean, yeah, it's. I certainly wouldn't be giving the winner's trophy over yet to our solo leader.
Well, Nakamatsu now to the front, it looks like. A rider coming out of Japan, riding for the team that we were just talking about. That is
EDOS, Early Dawn Activist Society. There you go. Looks all business out there.
Definitely.
Mr. Nakamatsu.
Looks like he races in real life a little bit. Good to see.
Yeah, he does. Oh. He's got the eye of the tiger. Even though he's got glasses on, I could see through them that there's an eye of a tiger there.
Wilson's got 43 seconds. He's gone. I think it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a tough one. But now we've got 2 here, Dave.
I'm amazed at Beatty. How about Beatty getting back up on the Halt's wheel here? That's a bit of a surprise for me. Usually when you get passed like that at that point in the race, you're cooked. But not our man Beatty here as he fights back. So this is second and third on course right now. Again, not to bury the lead, but the team in not this orange, but the white and orange looking pretty good in the big picture to take another outright win on the day. But it's turned into a wild affair up here on the front. 3 teams represented by squads that haven't been in the dominant position through the season, but they're certainly having a great ride out here today. And that's going to be Liam Beatty that we're looking at now, the Scottish rider here, who has rejoined and gone by Oscar Holt, who's sitting there in the yellow jersey. So again, though, this is not the Tête de la Corsa. This is second and third as Cal Wilson's gone. He's in a different postal code now, Nathan.
Guerra coming through for fourth, it looks like. Nice one from him. Not a rider that we focused on so much just as of yet. The Japanese definitely represented here. They're getting up early, aren't they? That's an early morning, I think, for our Japanese riders, isn't it? That are showing up for this time zone. And it looks like it's hurting out there today for, is that a cucumber?
Is he riding for the Early Dawn Activist Society team? Because it's early dawn in Japan. Tokyo, right now it's 5 a.m. So
if they are there, maybe just using
if they are
representation. Yeah. So
we never really know.
Well, here's what we were talking about, isn't
Chicago.
It, Dave? Now, here's the thing. You see that steamroller? I'm telling you, this guy knows his Zwift. Barrett
It's
is
even more impressive than the anvil, isn't it, on this gravel downhill? That's an interesting battle of power-ups.
What I'm wondering is, did he double down or did he make a mistake? Because, like, what I would have done, and what I did do, is I held my steamroller until I came right to the line of that banner up top, used the steamroller. It gained me a ton of speed through any gravel that it was able to give me speed through. And then I used my anvil on the lower slope. So it was like double power up. I think he maybe thought that the steamroller was stronger and held onto it instead of collecting a anvil. That's what it looked like happened to me.
In your experience, is that possible?
I think he made him. That is. Oh, yes. That's definitely possible. Yes. Yeah. He held on to. Go ahead.
But it's not. It would have been better to have the anvil.
I think he would have been better if he would have maybe timed his steamroller right to the line and then used the anvil later on and it would have actually gained them more time on the leaders if he would have done that. But there have been some updates too to game where some people may not know that the steamroller is not as powerful as it used to be because of the equalization of the dirt now. So some people are still going old school when it comes to the way that they're interacting with that steamroller. Now, Humpton here off the back, he's got 5 seconds to gain. I think he's going to do it. He looks pretty dang motivated. And I think these riders up front are starting to think about racing for second. Well, maybe not. As I say that, Croft says, I'm going to chase down Nakamatsu here now. As
Sam Crofts has been really impressive out here, as has been Nakamatsu. These two have been the class of this group. As right now, I mean, no shame in this game, but the Electric Spirit Code team just kind of laying back right now. There's still going to be an explosion out here as we go to the finish line, but right now they're not overplaying their hand, that's for sure. Back up to second and third on course. Cal Wilson's gone. 32-second advantage for Cal at this point. It's pretty hard to imagine that he doesn't hold on to the win. These guys fighting for second and third out here, they're in their own world at this point. It's going to feel like they're racing for the win.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Oscar just leading things out because I think all he really is caring about at this point is trying to hold off that pack. He's looking to break Beatty, though, perhaps now at this point. So 20 seconds, I think they're pretty safe as long as they don't start looking at each other. Oscar and Beatty, they're going to have a battle for the second and third to the line. Now we've got some points up for grabs, though, as Kanya here, 175, does the early punch. Is that going to hold on for him here? But now it is going to be Ueda up and over the top. I think he's going to make it happen here as Ueda now kicks 12 watts per kilogram with the speed. Sam Crofts again. Is it going to be Crofts? Crofts kicking? No, I think Ueda just holds on to it as it's going to be Crofts there for that fifth place across that sprint. Now there's separation here, Dave, and they can just continue on with this one. Maybe even look to try and chase down that 16 seconds if these boys start sitting up ahead, but it looks like they're going to work together at 4.5.
this race really played out differently than anything else we've witnessed today. We do have another broadcast coming up later if you're in North America, a little bit later in the evening. That'd be super late night in Europe. But right now, Nathan, this is going to be interesting. Don't forget Cal Wilson up there, 34 seconds up the road, who's still making big watts. So the American just putting more coal on the fire, to tell you the truth. He's going to win this race. These guys now, really, what we're talking about is going to be second, third, fourth on the season. These points are going to be critical. And I mean, it's interesting because there's no real theme to this finale. It's just every man for himself out here trying to get as many points as you can and drag them back to the Lion's Den. But right now, Beatty continuing to push. This one's gone back and forth, body blow after body blow being thrown between Beatty and Holt, and it looks like it might just come to a throwdown. Nathan, a two-rider sprint to the line as no one seems to have any decided advantage right now. Are they both on trod bikes as well?
They are both on. No, actually, no.
No.
Holt is on an old school bike, actually, interesting enough. Steel is real for Oscar, as Oscar's getting the right position here. That's the position to be. Now the kick is when he's got to go here. Nope, they're just looking at each other here. What is going on?
Yeah,
no, he waited. Really late. That was so late, but nicely done. Takes it down. Beatty's going to have to settle for that third place. Now let's open it up here for the sprint behind for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th through 10th, and it is going to be Kreber who opens up early here. So, Electric Spirit go taking.
Who's going to be the first team? The first team to put two riders over the line, I have to think it'll be Electric Spirit Co. That's going to be the first T175 rider. It's quite a mix here. Kind of jumping around
here. This got all kinds of. This was actually a chase group that almost caught that front group, Dave. That we haven't even seen these riders. Like what? Where did they suddenly come from? That's just
there were riders
the top
all
10.
Over the course coming into that last couple of K. Certainly no peloton, just small groups, riders fractured off of the front. Quite a finish out here today as we wrap things up for our EMEAW Western One Open category. That's done and dusted. So, well, that's going to be a little more interesting when you start tallying up the points with that one as well. There's no clear theme to that race. Electric Spirit Co. didn't dominate.
It's a good point, Dave. It's a really good point, actually. We've got 26 riders so far across the line. Let's go ahead and take a look and see. Cal Wilson walks away. That's I think that's going to get a look. That's a little
I would
much.
think.
That's going to get a pretty serious look. That's Jonas Vingegaard is producing 457 watts for that amount of time, or less even. So in this kind of a situation. So, Cal, thanks a lot for joining. Good job out there for the effort, but I have a feeling either you will be getting a call from a World Tour team or a call from WTRL. One of the two, probably both at the same time. So, Oscar,
we'll give Yumbo Lab your number, though.
Yeah, so, it's fine though. But there's one thing I really want to highlight, especially being a new Zwifter. This is a brand new Zwifter, everyone. This is not someone who's been around for a very long time. Someone who's been around for a very long time has been spoken to about a setup that may be overreading over and over and over again. That's a very different situation than this situation. This is a level 18 Zwifter who's been in 3 races, okay? So We're definitely going to give him a lot of wiggle room and say, hey, just go get it checked out and probably updated and don't race on that setup. But Oscar Holt there for what I'll call first place on the day. I'm just going to call that one as I see it.
There you go. I was weighing myself the other day and I got on the scale, Nathan, and it read way less than I thought it should. And then I realized, I'm weighing myself on carpet, not the ground, the hard cement. And for a moment, I was elated, but then I realized that I still weigh more than I want. But all right. Cal Wilson on top of the table here. Oscar Holt ends up winning that 2-rider kick for second with Liam Beatty in third. That's quite a battle out there, guys. Fun to watch. Ross Kreber ends up taking what we call the field sprint for fourth. Yasuhiro Nakumatsu for fifth. It's going to be Ueda for sixth. Rory Barrett for seventh. Sam Crofts in eighth. Yatus Kania in ninth. And then Lucas Duel for 10th. Again, this is our A's in the EMEAW Western 1. And the top 10 that we're looking at, moving now to the 11 through 20 spots.
Yeah, and that's going to be David Avinson there in 11th place there, followed by Tim Humpton. Aran Ganakat there for 13th. S. Rutten for 14th place. Duncan McLeod in 15th. Matt Gilmore, VCV, coming through for 16th place. His teammate, I believe, going to be the one that took the what we're calling the win out here today. It's going to be 17th going to C. Wilson. D. Brown there in for 18th. Daniel Tulin, followed up by Rafat Butka. That is the top 20. Let's see if I can get a quick little update here, everybody, on the top 30 here in just a second, because I do want to go out to that, keep things consistent across for these categories, as I think we do have, well, we've got plenty all the way out there, but there it is in the top 30.
And in 21st, Steve Taff of Zed San Istris the Coaster. So this is a previous race, actually.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, my bad. 12:45.
No
You're right. It was the 1 hour prior. Dave, good catch.
Thank you.
Great catch. Usually I'm the one catching these things. That was a great catch, Dave. I almost
No
left
worries.
that one too.
Every now and then. So there we go. It's Matus Mrovic in 21st, Daisuke Omisu in 22nd. This is quite a crew that we've got. Mitsunori Marutani in 23rd, Sandro Huber for 24th, Nogropa in 25th, Jacob Arnell in 26th, James Green for 27th, John Rogers in 28th, Joe Endersby for 29th, and Alan Smith. He found his way into the top 30 today. Good job, Alan.
All right, well, that's going to be our top 30 out there today for all of our broadcasts for Europe. Are going to be done and dusted here for now. If you want to go back and watch, you can check out. We did both of the women's European A's as well as the 145 and 1245 Central with Western and Eastern. So definitely go and check those out for the replays. We will be back tonight for the Americas Eastern women's and men's races. They're heating up a lot, and it's been a lot of fun. If you want to go check out any other broadcasts, there's plenty of people I know streaming over on Twitch. They're live perspectives. It's one of the busiest days when it comes to live streaming Zwift, Dave. I think that across I should do a count actually across YouTube and Twitch to figure out how many different streams there are, because I think there's got to be hundreds upon hundreds of them.
I love it. You know, just like you introduced us to Danny Enzo, there are so many cool people in the community, and I really enjoy going and watching the Twitch broadcast that they put up. That's for sure. So, all right, well, hydrate, rest up, Nathan. We got a lot more racing to come up later today.
Yeah, we do. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you want to check out those broadcasts, make sure to hit those notification bells over on our YouTube. The Americas is scheduled, and we've got plenty more coming at you for the rest of the week. If you're just here coming out of Europe and heading to bed shortly, well, don't miss our WLC Club Championships tomorrow. Here we're going to maybe have the world champion actually on the men's side of things showing up for a Bologna hill climb. So that's going to be one of the hottest contested races in a very small group, looking to battle it out for the WLC Club Championships. Obviously, we've got the podcast coming up on Thursday and then Echelon Racing League on Saturday. All that is already scheduled on our YouTube. Go ahead and hit those notification bells. We'll see you later tonight for the Americas East. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. From Dave and I, as always, right on.